Welcome back to Who the Fuck Are These Guys? How are you, Mako Shark?
Matty, see in the red corner, mate. Mako Shark in the blue corner. Look at this, 100th episode. Can you believe this?
Well, I can. As I always say, I knew we were set for big things, but I can't believe that we've even got corners now. This is massive. We can't float away out of a paper bag, but we can podcast, Mako Shark, and this is a monster. This is an absolute,
100th ep. Congratulations.
100th ep, new sponsor. Share it down the cannon here. Delgado's. Got to make sure it doesn't go everywhere. Haven't got a prop can. Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers
Matty.
to you on 100, Mako Shark, because this is massive for us.
It's massive for us. It's massive for the listeners. It's a massive episode.
People that have been there, they're ride or dies. We've got a few of them.
We've got a lot of people
Spotify Wrapped told me we got some good repeat guests.
Yep.
Oh, not repeat guests, repeat listeners. People that have stuck with us. Podcast grew as well, so that's another thing. So thank you for everyone out there for that, Mako Shark.
Mate. And,
how big's this week, though? Seriously.
As big as it gets. This is bigger than Ben-Hur.
Doesn't get bigger.
This is bigger than the biggest thing you can think of. We have got Alexander Volkanovski on the podcast here, episode 100. We've got a 42-minute sit-down, if you don't mind, about to come at you, because we're not going to sit here and waffle.
No, we normally do. We normally talk absolute garbage. There's a lot of new listeners and now viewers, Mako Shark.
Yep.
But I guess before we quickly go into the interview, we got to thank the Volk and the team.
Got to thank them all, mate.
And everyone that made it happen. Everyone...
Yep.
Renee and Ash and all of Volk's crew and all the people.
Joe down at Freestyle, mate.
Smooth talker. Give it to them. Tell them how much we love them and how appreciative we are. We don't just take shit in our. We don't just take it and move on. We take it and really.
It hits us in the heart. It does. Episode 100 could not be done without these people, mate. We went up to Freestyle Gym last week during the bit of a flight up to the God's country, they call it, Windang, down there at Freestyle Gym. It is. Mate, it's almost like a church down there. And to get in there and have a chat.
Well, it was a church.
Yeah,
it actually was a church.
And to have a yarn with a bloke like Alex Volkanovski was I'm not going to say dream come true. It sounds a bit sappy, but it really was. It touched us in all the right places.
A lot of people say dream come true.
It was a dream come true.
We're not fighters, right? So winning the title isn't a dream, but interviewing the absolute GOAT.
Yep.
And we still see him as the pound for pound.
He's the pound for pound, mate.
He went up and helped you, so he's our guy.
Yep.
We love him and we love them. What I love was all the fighters, because we haven't just gone for the Volk. Everyone says, how'd you get the Volk? We got the Volk because we've been paving our way at Mako, but we know all the other fighters come up and gave us the knucks, which is a sure sign to know that you've done it the right way.
No,
you haven't been rushed or sort of trolleyed in because you're on a reality show.
No, absolutely. So, it was fantastic to talk to him. I think he was open, honest, raw, funny, everything. It's got the whole lot, this interview. It actually is probably the best thing you'll ever see, to be honest.
You see sheer enjoyment on a man, I reckon, and relaxed. He knew we weren't there for any other reason but just to give him an opportunity to chat to us. But for us, we're not looking for shit. We're not looking for clicks. No. We just love him and the sport. So I think you could see that in his way he was in his man. And a lot of us said, a lot of a good eye locking.
Oh, mate, I was locking eyes with the Volk, I'll tell you what.
I was in a world of hurt in the pants after that. I'd say, eye locking. Imagine what his wife gets.
Tell you what, I was getting tight in the undergarments, but let's get into it. Let's not waffle on because no one wants to watch us. They want to see the Volk.
They do.
It's Volk.
Volk.
Let's get into it, but stick around. If you're just watching us for the first time,
what do we get into?
We're going to get into whole heaps after this. We're going to get into the big events in Austin today.
Yes.
Huge event in the UFC fight. No, we've got a big one coming up next week. We've got some Aussies fighting, Jamie Mullarkey.
Friends of the Potters, we call them. You'll learn that as you stay around. Anyone that's been on the show is an instant best friend.
Exactly right. So we've got a lot to get into. But before we do that, Matty, let's just get into it.
Please do.
It's
Take
the
me
Volk.
away.
It's the GOAT, Alex Volkanovski. This is a very, very exciting episode. It is episode number 100. And for number 100, we've gone all the way to the top. We're here in beautiful Windang, New South Wales. We've got the GOAT here himself. It is the featherweight champion of the world. It is Alexander the Great Volkanovski, mate. Thank you very much for joining us.
How good. What an intro. 100, yeah? Episode 100.
100 of the best.
Oh, mate, how good is this?
As we said off air, we've been manifesting this for a long time without you even knowing, and we've worked out that works, mate. And we've instead of doing it like we normally would do online, we thought we've got to come up here and get it, get acclimatised to the beautiful area up here. And we've been doing a little bit of sightseeing this morning. Went and saw the great man Anthony. Got a
all right, there you go.
There you go.
Nice.
So,
and a bit of a trip.
Eddie's Barber, shout out to Eddie's Barber. Yeah.
We saw the best, and we saw a little bit of the worst this morning at 5 a.m. The bloke, the police were called behind our accommodation.
At the front of our little cabin, we saw a bloke getting carted away in a divvy van.
Okay, so where was that? That was
the tourist park.
Was that here?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Oh, here we go. Yeah,
So
We're
behind-
acclimatised ourselves.
So you've got the bad weather, you've got people get arrested, like, right where you are.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
but
all,
got a
it's all
good
happening.
got cleaned up from one of the best, or if not the best.
Yeah,
So,
good, mate.
And then
And look where we
podcast.
are, mate. It was a former church, this building, I've heard, but mate, it feels like it still is a church.
It used to be called the church. That used to be so it was a church, and then it was called the church as a fighting gym, I think. And then, and then now it's a freestyle fighting gym.
I'm not a religious guy, but I reckon there's two churches in my life. One is Monk's Cafe from Seinfeld. I went to New York City and I went to the actual Monk's Cafe. That was like church to me, and this is like a church to me as well.
great, there you go.
So it's very exciting,
So
mate.
fighting and, what was the
nervous.
cafe, did you say?
Monk's Cafe from
Monk's
Seinfeld.
Cafe,
yeah.
okay, all right.
They're the two religious hotspots.
be good quickly as well. We're in here, right? So we were talking about it on the flight up. We've never really heard or dug deep into how you found your way here. Obviously, born and raised in the area. And did you by chance just walk up here, or did you get invited?
Oh yeah, just by chance. I've always loved martial arts. I always loved UFC. I was a big fan of UFC, and I was playing rugby league. Literally, really gorillas. That's just around the corner, pretty much. Yep. And I've always wanted to come here. Obviously, heard of the spot. And it used to be a little bit set up. Now you come through that door. Used to come through here. So I still remember walking through that door the first time. Yeah. So
Didn't know Uncle Joe at all?
Didn't know him. Yeah. So it was pretty crazy. Walked in and I just was a big front rower, short, stocky front rower, fairly oversized, ready to come
when
in.
You walked in, blokes were like, "What have we got here?"
There is a little story that I've talked about a couple of times, but obviously it's all good now. He probably still remembers it. So every time he tells it, he's like, damn, he's probably does his head in every time I tell this story because he probably remembers it. Walking through that exact door, and there was a guy at school. He was older, and. He looks at me and goes, what are you going to do? What are you doing here? You're going to get smashed. First thing, as I was walking in, I could have easily just turned around.
Yeah, mate.
Then I'm just like, So I just went in and then, so it was all right. So the funny ending to that story, I ended up getting to grapple him the next day. Yeah. And I actually never seen him again in the gym after that. So I don't know if that was because of that or just the timing, but I mean, it's a good part of the story. Yeah, and if he is watching, I forgive you. There's no hard feelings there. You know, we all say silly things sometimes, but
maybe
you were my motivation now. Look at me now.
I was going to say, maybe you should thank him because, as you know, you like to prove people wrong. So if he never said that, maybe he wouldn't have lit that
Exactly
spark.
right. You know what I mean? That was the only reason why I wanted to be a world champion, to prove that guy wrong.
When you came in here as well, was there a Volk in here? Was there like a local hero that people sort of looked up to, and there was like and everyone in the area wanted to sort of watch fight and go along? Or
I think there was a few back then. I didn't watch too much on the local scene, but I'm pretty sure there was a few fighters that Joe had. Yeah. There was some guys that doing a bit of MMA around the area, but I can't remember the exact names to be honest. But I mean, I'm sure there was a few people that were getting into it, but. Yeah. I started where, look, UFC was a thing, but it wasn't a massive thing in Australia yet, where a lot of people were sort of watching, but I was probably the start of a trend of getting into MMA. So there was some, good guys around Australia that were doing all right.
That first crop of guys
CFC
coming up.
days, if you remember the CFC days, so you had all them guys there going. So, you had a couple of the good guys are already doing it, but locally, I think there was a few fighters, but I don't know if they were fighting a CFC or something. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Well, it's a hell of a story, isn't it? It is. And we're at this chapter of your story right now, mate. It's been about 5 weeks since Abu Dhabi. Mm-hmm. UFC, whatever it was, against Islam Makhachev, mate. Let's talk a little bit about it. Mm-hmm. How are we feeling 5 weeks out after everything that's happened?
Oh, mate, I'm all good. Obviously, it's a tough no. Nobody likes losing, win anything. And, look, it was always a tall ask. We knew that. Everyone knew that going in. Fighting anybody on short notice is always going to be tough. Fighting a guy like Islam is going to be, look, I still stand by my decision. You could still go out there and, imagine if it did all go to plan and then, you know what I mean, all of a sudden you're the man. Yeah. But, I've always been a big believer in preparation. I've made that clear. That's what's made me the man I am today. That's what's made me the champion I am. And let's be real, the preparation wasn't there, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. So so I knew that while it was happening, I'm like, come on, talking to myself, you got to go, you got to go.
Feel it.
Yeah, I could feel I just wouldn't go. Obviously with the surgery and not doing any sparring, and then the newborn, and so there wasn't much. I can't even remember how many lives. There wouldn't have been, there would have been literally live sessions. When I'd say wrestling, grappling, and sparring, I would have had them in as many as what's on my hands, like if that. You can't expect to go out there and be as sharp as ever, see everything. I did tell myself I would, and that's the beauty of me and my mindset. I will believe these things. It may be, some of us are just delusional when it comes to this, but you need to be. It does go in my favour a lot of times, because usually I do put in the work. Yeah. So I can think like that. I can be confident like that, and I know I usually have the preparation to back that up. This time I just didn't. Mm-hmm. So I went in there and I just couldn't pull the trigger. I felt strong, so I'm not taking anything away. It's not like the weight cut took everything away from me. I'm not going to I don't believe anything. I just think while I was there, I was calm, composed, seeing everything. I just could not pull the trigger. Couldn't find the moments to put that confusion in front of him, throw that volume, and look for them shots.
And you can feel that happening in the moment.
I was talking to myself. I'm like, you got to go, you got to go, you got to go. I was even while he was kicking, I'm like, he's all right. Like I expected that. I knew that the range that I was going to fight at, that's what would happen. But I thought I'd be able to let my hands go and take some opportunities. I just wasn't. And he was blasting trying to go the leg kicks, body kicks, and I'm like, he's going to go high. I was even telling myself he would go high. Like that's the thing, right? Like I don't let people just set things up.
No.
That's why I'm all about volume. I'm all about making people fight my fight. I just couldn't do that. And again, so I can sit there and make all the excuses I want in the world, but at the end of the day, he capitalized on that moment. You know what I mean? He went there. I even was trying to, I did duck into it, but I was even trying to block
shelling
it.
Up a bit, yeah.
Found that little inch there, which made it enough. Got the top of the dome, and that's it. That's all she wrote. But again, I wish I was able to take this fight on that rematch should have been a full preparation of us two of the best going at it. People probably aren't going to see that. So a lot of people, that's what was annoying me fight week, when people are like, oh, it's a win-win or no-lose situation. I'm like, I lose this.
Yeah.
You forget about that first fight. You're gonna, it's, in a year's time, you ain't going to bring up 12 days notice, and it's just going to be a loss on my record. I'm never going to get this rematch ever again. Yep. And I knew that going in. I knew if this doesn't go my way, I don't get this fight again. I probably don't get probably don't get another chance at lightweight ever again. So, it was something that I knew. But again, so I'd hear people, I'm like, what are you talking about? All right, you're gonna obviously get the paychecks and whatnot. It is high risk, high reward. So there's a big reward, you'd get that win. But, for people acting like there's no loss, it's just silly. So you could see how quickly people forget from things like that. It's like they forgot that I took that fight at such short notice, which is sort of good in a way, because now we get the bounce back,
Well, I mean, come back. People forget, even when he tried to take you down, you look strong in that.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
And that's what I think it's sad that will get overlooked as time goes. It'll be the highlight because everyone loves the shorts. But
exactly
if you're watching its entirety, he tried his go-to thing, and you stood up even better than you did in Perth in that aspect off short notice. So I know it's not great and horrific because you lost, but there was some positives out of that you have come into a place that you had 12 days notice and stood up with one of the best wrestlers. And then he had to go that other way. So I thought,
for sure. So
people will forget that.
100%, you're right, because I felt him, and then I felt stronger straight away. I felt like, oh man, I'm stronger than this guy. I might take him down. And then I was going that. I started doing that, and then I was like, maybe not. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't want to, like with the gas tank. My opportunities on the feet and letting the hands go. Yeah. Like I'm having these conversations in my head. Like I'm literally doing that while I was holding. I'm like, I'll break through, but then I was even going, I'm going to break, and then. I was going to swear. We learned
something. Swear, mate.
You swear your cock off.
Oh, you know what I mean? You better Fook and do something about it. You know what I mean? You better pull the trigger. I was like literally saying that as soon as I was really excited. I knew I didn't the first little exchanges we had on the feet. I wasn't letting the hands go. So I'm like, you're going to go. Your opportunities on the feet, not me out wrestling this guy for 5 rounds or trying to get a submission. So you have to let your hands go. I did that, and I just couldn't. I'm like, come on. It was just so weird. It was a weird situation. But again, that's why I'm a big believer in preparation. Yes. Going into this fight, I'm going to have like I think it's like 13 weeks now or 12 weeks, and I'm just having a massive solid camp. I'm going to have a little break in between so that you don't get exhausted, and so we're going to have a little family holiday with a heap of friends and their kids, so that'll be fun, and then straight back into it. So it's going to be a lot longer camp.
Yep.
But we've it's like two sort of bulky bits, which I've been doing actually the last few camps, and it's been doing really well. It's really easy to get them long camps when you do that.
If Dana and that, if there was ever an opportunity to not say it's not him, but someone else to go up on short notice, would you put a line through that now, do you think? Or would it just be circumstantial and still take it on it? You would do it?
I'd still do it because, again, I'd usually be in a better position. Look, so you see me straight after the press conference. We may as well get into the post-fight press conference. You see me there, obviously coming off first like proper knockout, you know what I mean? I've lost in you know what I mean? So even the other loss against Islam was controversial. We thought we did enough, so it didn't feel obviously like that. But
2, 3, and 5. 2, 3, and 5. I'll take it to the grave.
There you go.
2, 3, and 5.
That's it. That's the one. They're my numbers too.
You're talking about preaching to the choir.
I know. I know he's had my back all the time. I appreciate it. But so you can see straight after that, I was emotional. Obviously, a bit of the concussion adds to that. And knowing that, I took the decision at the time. I took that decision underprepared, stupid decision because, again, as you hear me talk about, there was times was a little uneasy, a little uncomfortable. Wasn't in the gym, drinking a little bit. Had a newborn, trying to be the best dad I can be, but not being able to tick the boxes in the gym that I usually am. Coming from injury, so I wasn't doing so it was just things that usually, again, I deal with things a lot better. And there was just a time there where the pressure was a little bit too much for me. It was a bit uncomfortable. And everyone gets that. So I want people to understand, I'm all good, but I'm glad people got to see this side of me because everyone gets vulnerable sometime in their life. Everyone gets uncomfortable. I'm usually in a lot more control. I'm usually, when it comes to resilient, I've always been very resilient. I deal with things a lot bit. But then again, there's going to be limits to everything, especially depending on what's going on. And so that was happening, and then that decision came of taking that fight. I was like, this will snap me out of it, the drinking and all that, get me back in the gym properly. And so I wasn't really training.
No, okay.
But I used that as it's meant to be. I went in there and then this happened. And so straight before, I'll be honest, there'll probably eventually be footage of it. Straight after that, I went into the back room. I'm like, what was I thinking? Made this stupid decision because I was where my head was at. All right, and I just broke down. So I broke down and I was just in the room, broken down, and then literally we walked out and did the press conference. So it was, so at the time, so that's where my head was at. Telling myself I made this stupid decision, blah, blah, blah. When I had time to think about it, it wasn't the decision. I stand by my decision to take a fight. I've always stood by the person I am, and I will do that. I'm the guy that will do it. I'm more disappointed in the timing. Yeah. Usually
you would have been
way more prepared.
Dialed in.
I'm in the gym a lot more, and you would have seen a guy that would have been in a lot better position physically, mentally, going into that fight because, again, I've always been very professional, very disciplined, and I just wasn't for them last few months.
Perfect storm.
So, yes, it was all just this and then that happening and then just you see me at my most vulnerable. Yeah. And, again, I'm okay with that. I have mixed emotions of people seeing me like that straight after. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, this is a positive. A lot of people reaching out. Obviously, I let everyone know, look, I'm all good. But this is something that should be talked about because there's a lot of people that probably aren't in my position. A lot of people, I know what makes me tick. I know, I'm all good. I know what needs to do. I know, I'm usually the rock trying, ready to take on everything all the time. But, sometimes that can get a bit much. But there's a lot of people that don't know what makes them tick, don't know their exact purpose, or they're trying to figure all that out. I know. Yes. So I'm lucky enough to be there. So I'm glad I could talk about it and people could see that even the strongest of men, most resilient of men, can still get vulnerable here and there.
And it's a unique situation that someone at their most vulnerable they've probably ever been is on camera in front of the entire
world.
Room.
Literally broken down, walking in there,
so wiping
the tears off his eyes onto the stage.
As fucked up and weird as that is, it's almost a blessing that people got to see that.
Mate, like I said, I've had people reach out saying that it's, saved their life. They've seen even like some people just don't know how to handle it and they think they're the only people that feel like that. But then they're like, all right, even these guys that, the strong men will still have these moments. Then they come back and they're, the best in the world, you know what I mean? They're doing that, you know what I mean? So they're like, so everyone's going to have little moments like, again, there's people that have serious mental health issues. Like, I'll be honest, I don't. Like, again, everyone gets uncomfortable. There's some people that obviously in a way worse position than me. But again, it ain't weak to speak. We start talking about stuff like that should be talked about. I know some people still, like, again, I'll be honest, even I was at a point where I was like, should have people seen me like that? Where I'm like, no, I'm glad they did. The last thing I wanted to do, because I was close to being like, I'm all good, don't worry about it. But then I'm like, nah, then
be honest.
I'm sort of going against what I'm saying. What it ain't weak to. So now what are you embarrassed and now you're trying to cover it up? Nah, like, again, I was uncomfortable. It's probably a very, very short amount of time that you've seen, but everyone still gets to these points.
A lot of young men in Australia, that
100%.
A lot of teenagers get picked on, bullied because they're a bit more, on an emotional side instead of being the bravado.
Yep.
Seeing someone that's pound for pound, we think the best in the world in what you do, to see you in that vulnerable position, you probably inadvertently helped a lot of kids.
100%, exactly right. That's what I'm sort of proud of. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. And again, there are going to be, there are going to be moments where everyone gets like that. But, if people are going to see weakness, if my opponents think that's weakness...
they've got another thing coming.
Yeah, exactly right. Like, so this is the beautiful thing is, like, I had mixed emotions about people seeing me like that. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I did because it was for, it was a positive. I believe there's a lot of people needed to see that. And not just that, people get to see what happens next. I hope these people are going seeing it as weakness. Watch me walk through my next opponents. Watch me do what I'm going to do and shut these people up. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden be like, and I can literally look at these people and go, shut your mouth. You know what I mean? That's right. I am still that guy. So one day you might see me vulnerable, but don't forget, I'm the
baddest man.
One day I might be a little vulnerable. You might see me there. There's a camera in my face at that one point. But the next week, I'm the baddest man on the planet. You remember that. And some people need to be reminded. And the beautiful thing about it, I get to remind them not too far away. So I'm looking forward to that. So there's good. So people, not only it was a positive, they get to see my bounce back. So people can see me like that and then watch what happens from there. So now I can set a real good example is like, look at that and watch my next fight. Watch what I go out and do. Watch watch the man you see now even. And then even then, you know what I mean? There's going to be highs and lows. You might not always see everything. You might only see the highs. But I mean, I'm going to show you. You seen the low? Watch these highs again. Don't trust me. There's going to be highs coming from me. And I want everyone to believe it. When there are dark times, where there are people struggling, there's highs just around the corner. Just remember that. Stay positive. Positive is maybe not the right word, but stay strong. Get through it. You're going to be all right. I promise you. You know what I mean? And time will definitely help that. And you just got to get through. Sometimes there's a bit. Just remember, there's things that might be happening in your life when you're struggling and things like that. And you need to stay strong in them moments. Whether it's real big problems where you need to, I know sometimes being the rock for, your family when, say loved ones are, something's happened to a loved ones or whatever it is. Sometimes, being the rock, can take its toll.
It can drag on you.
It can. But at the same time, remember you're doing it for your family and you will all turn it around.
And people look at you like the world champion, all this like, what's he got to worry about? But I reckon the more pressure, the greater you get, the higher you achieve, there's more pressure on you each time you go out there. Similar to guys like us, recording their 100th episode. Like, the pressure on us today has been monumental. So I sort of feel every time you go out there, you've got a reputation to uphold.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Look, it is. Mate, you're right. There's pressures. But I mean, I'm not going to sit here and, there's a lot of people. There's a lot more people that are struggling with bigger problems than me.
Pound for pound best in the world.
So you got to, and I understand that. But you know what I mean? Yeah, again, there's certain things that make people tick, you know what I mean? And there's certain things that make people uneasy. But I mean, just because you're uneasy, feeling uneasy and a little uncomfortable one day doesn't mean that's how every day after that's going to be like that. Remember that. And again, you're going to see people around you all the day, all the time. That's why I think it's good to see people talk about it. Because now a lot of people are going to see that on a daily basis. We're like, oh, he's struggling, needs a chat. Next minute he's going there and, very successful business, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And like you're quickly being reminded that everyone feels like that. It's all right. We'll get through it. It's all good.
Well, let's talk about the comeback, mate.
Lock up? Yeah, sweet.
Let's talk about that next level. We just talked about it. UFC 298 in February against Ilia Topuria. Let's talk about it, mate. I think you do your best work when there's criticism, when there's doubters out there. All of a sudden, there's doubters coming out of the woodwork now after the last fight.
For sure.
So how much are you excited to go out there and prove everyone wrong again?
I can't forget the people that still got my back and they know that, that I'm still the same man and that I'm going to go out and, prove my point. But I mean, you're right. There are people that quickly forget, which is fine. Again, I've always, I guess, enjoyed it. I think I must always have a chip on my shoulder. I've always got something to prove. I always look for things, it's that underdog mentality that I have. Like I always feel like, I guess people still doubted me. I've always been doubted and I use that as a fuel for me. So now I'm in a position where people need reminding and I'm going to have this guy who's, mate, he's
doing a bit of this.
Yeah, he's going to talk. This guy thinks he's the man. Like, you know what I mean? Like
overnight though, he's all of a sudden taking on this thing.
He thinks he's very sexy, is what I'm getting from him.
Yeah, he's like, mate, like the Bachelor, But anyway, like he's it's funny. Like for me, I've always wanted to earn my stripes, earn these positions, put myself in there and earn that respect.
Yes.
This guy's just, he's getting things given to him and like, probably not even that much, but he thinks he's the man. Yeah. And the beautiful thing about it is like I get to teach a kid a lesson, you know what I mean? Like, so ready to go out there. I don't know, how old is this bloke? I don't even know.
Who knows, mate?
I think he's young.
I think he's late 20s maybe.
Late 20s, you think? I think he might be more... I'm hoping he's more young because I want to teach him a lesson, humble him a little bit, and still let him wake up to himself, and then he can bounce back when my time's done. He needs a bit of humbling.
Let's bring him into Freestyle Gym in one of his little Italian loafers he wears.
26. 26, perfect age. Let me go out there. Yeah. No, we don't want to. I don't want to prove. I don't want to prove something. I don't want to prove it in the gym.
No.
He needs the world to see it.
I was going to say he steps on the mat in one of his little leather shoes, and Uncle Joe comes out and just clips him $1,000 fine.
Let me do my thing in front of the world.
Yeah.
Little humbling experience for him.
Yeah.
He maybe needs a bit of embarrassment. And snap things into gear, and then maybe he can one day be a great champion. Because right now he wants to act like how he's acting. Yeah. I'm just going to teach him a lesson. I'm going to embarrass him. He's young enough to bounce back in a positive way. So I'll play teacher the next few months. So
we're not fighters, right? But every fighter across any sport that we've spoke to has always said when we've asked them, because we always like to know what are your plans. They always say, well, more than not, they've said this fight ahead. He's already got Holloway and Canelo and he's talking, but like, does he forget who he's fighting? I mean, it's absolutely, I actually can't believe the disrespect, Shane. Yeah, it's freaking me out. So I can only imagine you must be just going, who is this kid? What's he?
I mean, there's nothing, I've always been the type that I've always would still plan ahead, but I'll plan ahead, but know exactly what, I'm not delusional in the sense where I know what needs to still be done. I will talk about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you see me do the work in preparation. You see, the reason why, I see him being delusional. He thinks that he's just going to do what he always does and it's enough for everybody. So I always know that I need to do this, I need to do that. Our team does the right things. So I'm not delusional in the fact where I could just stand there and stand in front of him, don't move my chin, and I'm still going to win. I'm not saying that's how he fights, but I'm just this guy thinks that he can just fight how he always does and it doesn't matter who's in front of him, he's that good. Yeah. Well, he hasn't even proved that against the best yet.
No, that's right.
He's almost been gift-wrapped at this because what's the other alternative? Holloway fights him and smashes him and then we're stuck with?
We'll see how good he is.
Exactly.
He might be as good as he says he is, but you need to prove that. At least prove that against the top guys. And I'm not throwing no shade on Emmett. I like him. He's a good dude, powerful dude, but we're talking about, there are levels and and it's not disrespectful when you've seen it. You've seen what some guys can do to him and then you can see what I can do to them guys that do to him. There are levels. I mean, you can go out there and again, he sees this and he's like, oh yeah, I won all these rounds. I'm like, wait a second, watch the fight. I look at fights and I don't care how big this finish was or how good was this finish. I'm looking at every little detail of that fight. I'm seeing big problems here, big problems there, you know what I mean? Like some people just completely delusional, forget about this and be like, he's just looking at all the positives in that fight. Right. I'm like, there's plenty of negatives there. You need to pay attention to that. Even when I win, I always, if I get touched, I'm not happy. I mean, there's something that could be fixed, you know? That's how I look at it. Well, he doesn't. This guy just thinks he's untouchable, but I get he's undefeated, you know, he's young. Maybe the team around him just let him just think he's the man. He probably spars with guys, and again, he just goes 100% and tries knocking out his your training partners and try and, you know, it's easy to do that against guys you're better in the gym that, you know.
Of course.
You know what I mean? We've, you know, when you're trying to knock their heads off, you think some of the best in the world, you think all the best in the world can't do that? We're just not idiots. We don't want to kill our training partners. So, you know, again, try that shit on me, see what happens.
Well, you saw it when Emmett fought in Perth against Yair, and he, you know, he's got power, and as soon as he got figured out, Yair made him look a little bit silly in a way, but then we saw what you did to...
Yes.
But how do they not see that and think that? They think the other... It does freak me out because that's a perfect example of, like you said, levels, and they're not giving you your respect, which is the biggest mistake they
See, again, I don't know how it is. Maybe he does have so many layers that he hasn't had to use yet.
Yeah.
Maybe he is that good.
Maybe. We're going to find out.
I don't think that, but you know what I mean? I don't think I'm going to be in for a rude shock. I think there's going to be one person that's in for a rude shock come February 17th. And I can guarantee you it's not going to be me. I'm going to prepare for the best version. I'm going to prepare for a guy that I believe is better than him. I'm preparing for the best version of himself. Yes. And the best version of himself is a lot of things I haven't seen. So he ain't surprising me, none. No. But this kid thinks he's a man who's just going to walk through me. So he's going to be for a rude shock. And like I said, school is in session. I cannot wait.
Yeah, I can't wait either. You are fooked, Ilia Topuria. I'm sorry to say it, but
who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I mean? Like,
right. Look, obviously we don't look ahead, we don't look past, but like, where do you see the division sort of taking shape after this fight? Because as I said, Max Holloway just seems to be there. He's a gatekeeper. He's not going anywhere. There's levels to this game. He is clearly a level above these guys as well. Would you be able to get up and motivated if that fourth fight ever came?
Look, man, it'll be hard. I'll be honest. One thing I do love about this Ilia fight, he's undefeated. He's a new school. A lot of hype about him. I think UFC's even got, like if it seems like they got plans. So obviously they need to. They're like so many steps ahead. Yeah, if this happens, they do this. If this happens, they do this. So, you know, whether they want it or they're just planning anyway, I'm about to ruin all their plans, so I apologise for that. But
you saved their plans before,
exactly.
So you can call that even.
Exactly. So we'll see. But I mean, this is a new school of breed, a young guy, powerful dude, massive Fred, he's undefeated. So it's a good storyline here because I'm coming off a loss.
Exactly. Redemption arc.
And a lot of people are like, how's he going to bounce back from a knockout? Oh, you know what I mean? Like, you know, that vulnerable point, blah, blah, blah. Is this a downhill effect? Now he's fighting this undefeated, hot prospect fucking who gives people flowers. Don't know why I added that. Doesn't really sound intimidating at all. But anyway, you know what I mean? It's a mad storyline where, you know, it's like a, you know, almost a Rocky Balboa story, which is perfect timing for me to go out there and, again, really show this guy, give him a bit of tough love and, embarrass him in front of the world for the positive. Again, it's tough love. I'm not doing this to be a prick. You're going to thank me in a few years.
This is it, yeah. It's coming from love.
It's
coming from love. Your coaches aren't pulling you in line, so I'm going to pull you in line.
You should start taking the local rugby jerseys instead of giving flowers when you beat him. Just hand him the local, you know. So this is where hard works. This is where it starts.
I mean, I wonder if he gives me one at like the weigh-in or something like that. So I'm going to keep it, and then like it'll be ready for the fight time. I mean, like, you gave it to me, I'm just giving it back. If you're sleeping while I give it back to you, it's not disrespect. It's you gave it to me, I'm giving it back. You know what I mean? But so it's we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I mean, right now I've just got my eyes set on this next one, and we'll see. You never know what happens. You got Islam talking about moving up. Obviously, I still want that lightweight title.
Yes.
Again, that's what I mean. It's hard for me. I'm just a realist, right?
Yeah.
I can sit there and be delusional. Oh, it's only 12 days notice. I want to fight him again. It's just, you know what I mean? I was aware of this before I took that fight. I know I ain't getting that rematch straight away.
No.
I know I probably won't ever get that trilogy. And I knew that taking that fight on short notice. I was willing to take that risk. You know what I mean? I could have waited. They wanted it eventually later, but that wasn't guaranteed to me.
He might have gone up and then you never get that.
That 12-day notice, even though all the odds were stacked against me, was at least guaranteeing me a fight, and I took it. So, you know, we'll see what happens. You never, if he moves up and then there's a vacant belt and I don't want to win it that way, maybe I can invite him back if I do take that lightweight title. We will see. But, yeah, right now I've got Ilia to worry about.
Yeah.
And, again, I'm fine with thinking ahead.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I guess we've just got to see what's ahead. I mean, we've still got a lot of guys. I'm glad Ilia is that guy. It's like such a clear... He's a clear next guy, so like I haven't really had that for a while. Yeah. Actually, Rodriguez was.
Yeah.
So, which is exciting, you know what I mean? It means I don't really have to look forward. Like I remember even with Yair, obviously I wanted that rematch with Islam, but I was still focusing on that. I knew that was next. It was so clear to me. And the same case with this one. So I guess I'll see what happens after that.
Similar commentary with Yair on the internet. People are like, oh, he's young, he kicks, he's dangerous, he's never fought anyone like this. It's like, well, you know, you have, and you've beaten them comfortably. So it's, you know, it's kind of like, and then now this is it's almost the same thing. They just recency bias. That's all it is. They've seen your last performance and gone, oh, but they've just forgotten about your whole body of work.
That's the game, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's the sporting world. That's why it's exciting.
That's it.
People can quickly forget and be quickly reminded. And the emotions can go like this. It keeps it exciting. So if people want to sit there and doubt me, all good. Like it's fine. Again, I thrive in that. It just adds to the win. It makes the victory look even bigger. I guess you can look at it as a comeback story. If people really look at it as like, oh, I'm done, beautiful. You know what I mean? Like I've got a camera. I'm going to have cameras around me so much. So if, depending on how people take it all, I go out there, do what I do. Like we're going to have that all in front. Maybe there's a good documentary coming. Like you never know. You know, there's plenty of opportunities. We'll see what happens. But I think it all adds to the story. That's why it's easy for me to move on when things like this happen. It's meant to be. Play on. It's a part of the story. Move forward. Get back in the gym, you know, and do what you need to do.
Absolutely, mate. And before we wrap it up, I have to ask about Footy Volk. The mythical character himself, Footy Volk. What was he, about 295 pounds there at one point?
It changes every
Maybe
time.
Hit 300 at one point. But, mate, who would win in a fight right now, current day Volk, up against the 2,000-pound Footy Volk? Who would win that fight?
I would smash Footy Volk. Mate, I think I've got footage here. I'll show you something.
I'd love to see
I've got a mate. He's 168 kilograms.
Jesus.
So I picked him up with while I'm featherweight right now. So I think I've still got this. So literally, I grab him by one leg.
Jesus. Single leg.
Oh, my Lord.
That's 168 kg,
168 kg. Yeah, I'll show you that as well. I don't know if you want to zoom in. Was that looking in? Big Kalani. He told me 168. I think he might even say it. One sec. Oh, wait, it's not working.
That's all right.
Did you see that? That work? Someone walked in front. But 168 kg, picked him up by one leg.
So Footy Volk's in trouble.
Footy
Volk's fucked as well.
Footy Volk is still there. You know what I mean?
He's inside of it. You are Footy Volk still, I reckon.
It's like a Footy Volk with way more agility, speed, experience, IQ, you name it. You know what I mean? I'm the same as. I swear the strength. I believe that. You know, it's for me to say exact strength, you know, but I mean, I have held on to so much of the strength. Yeah. And that's why every time everyone like grapples me or wrestles me, like, you don't get, a lot of people don't get to, you know, you don't always see it. Obviously, you've seen it with the Islam and all that. But yeah, till you're actually feeling it, it's like, it's definitely different.
Well, just to go back a sec, you get through this next fight, there's another man who's done great things at your weight that's still pretending that he's going to be active in Conor McGregor. Is that a potential, you know, you win this and then there's either a Holloway fourth fight, which that's not that exciting really for anyone, I don't think, because you've shown I think we worked it out, you've pretty much won every round you've fought him. So,
yeah, exactly.
Is there a potential, you know, because that's a huge draw, right? And that could be something, you go and do something in that and then that could, you know, back into the Makhachev. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's a 100% there's a storyline there.
You've done great things. It'd be great to see that.
There's a story. Yes, there's a storyline there where, like, we've both beat all other featherweight champions. Well, I beat Yair being interim and that, but you get what I mean? But I haven't beat him, so I want that.
Yeah.
And then there's a story there, and I'm happy to move up. Everyone know I'll move up. I'll fight at 80 kg. I don't care what it is. I'll fight, I'll fight him at whatever. It's a big fight, a fun fight, legacy fight, exciting fight, money fight. It ticks so many boxes. You know what I mean? So I'll definitely do it. And yeah, you can see that, he's obviously, it's on his mind as well. He keeps bringing it up as well. And every time my name gets mentioned,
he's always chirping.
He's always trying to say something. So it's a good thing when that's happening. But yeah, and he's eager to get back in there. He looks like he just wants to fight. You know what I mean? He's just like, get me back in there. I don't know what's happening where they're waiting for the perfect time to bring him back. He just wants to fight, you know what I mean? I think he doesn't need the money. I think he wants to be active, and I think he knows he's his best version of himself when he's fighting, you know what I mean? Otherwise, he's on the piss, tweeting the world. You know what I mean? Doing voice messages, singing, or,
he deletes them. I reckon his wife must wake up and see his night of activity. He goes, come on, mate, we've got to take some of this down.
Exactly right. So he's like, oh no, enough of the Twitter wars. Let's have the real wars in the cage.
He's normally pretty negative on the Twitter and has a shot at you sometimes, but after your press conference, he actually got on there and was backing you up. I've seen
that. Well, that's what made me realise. And he's like going, when he's sitting there and he's saying, he's like, how do you think, you know what I mean? Look how long it's been me. I come with a broken leg, I haven't been in there.
He's been kept away from his living, is what he said.
He wouldn't be the man he is. I know, with that, he's obviously, what's the word I'm looking for?
He's obsessed.
Yeah, well, is high achieving. What's the word? He's a. I forget the word that I'm looking, but I mean, obviously, he's a look where he was a man of craft. He was a perfectionist. He was, you know what I mean. He wouldn't be where he is today if he wasn't like that. So now he doesn't really need to do that because he's got the money. But then he realizes that's why he's just going nuts the whole time, because he's like, he needs a lot of these other things to tick the boxes. That competitiveness that's always going to be there. That drive to be successful. It's like, yeah, you're successful here, but I want to still tick these boxes. And you really seen that in that interview that you're talking about. He's like, just get me back in there. I don't care who with. Yeah. You know what I mean? So let me teach Ilia a lesson, and then maybe I can invite him back. I think the timing works perfect.
I think it does. And we'll probably get him on episode 101 next week, I reckon. So we'll ask him the same questions.
Maybe a counter. Maybe I'll say a few things and he can come back with a counter.
A few back and forth, mate. No, mate, it's been an absolute bloody honour to have you on the pod. We really appreciate you having us in this joint, mate. This has been a dream come true for us.
It has. It's where we started it in COVID, because we had too many chat groups with mates, and we thought, let's just put something out. If anyone wants to listen, they'll listen. And
the world needed another podcast. That's what we thought.
Yeah. There's not many of them.
But we've found it to be the best thing we've done outside of obviously family and stuff. And this has been the most enjoyable, few years. And to be able to have you on the 100th episode, we've been calling for it. We love you unconditionally. We love your career. We love what you've done for the sport, what you do for the fighters, for the Australian, the public, mate. So this is an absolute honour.
No, I appreciate it as well. Like I said, you guys have been unreal. So I've always wanted to do something. So when I come up, I'm like, yeah, 100%. So again, I don't do too many of them, I'll be honest. Now that we've own YouTube, we do a lot of our own content.
Yeah, you don't have to.
But I mean, obviously, when we appreciate guys like yourself for doing what you're doing for so long, obviously you want to give back whenever you can. It's hard to give back to everybody, but I mean, there's always a time, a place. If the timing fits and the right people are involved, sometimes it's going to happen. And I'm glad it did in this one.
No, mate, you're the best.
Get his Mount Rushmore before we go.
Oh, yeah, we're going to ask you Mount Rushmore. That's what we're going to do, mate. We love getting people's Mount Rushmores. Ours is.
Okay.
Bald Volk, hair Volk, footy Volk, and Stone Cold Volk. That's our Mount Rushmore.
Okay.
Of MMA in general.
Oh, okay. All right. So I've taken all of them. All right.
Yeah, who's your Mount Rushmore before we sign off?
Mount Rushmore, what's the UFC
just
legends?
MMA in general. Yeah, UFC, anything you want.
Yeah, look, I'm not the type to toot my own horn, so I'm going to obviously throw other people out there. So I'll go, let's go with some of the greats then. So how much has it got to be? It's got to be 4, huh? 4 of the best. Yeah, it's got to be 4. I was going to get more. All the Bulldogs. I like that. You said it, though. So, all right, so we'll move on. I'm glad we got some Volks in there. But let's go GSP. Yes. Let's go Anderson Silva. I've already said GSP, Anderson Silva. I'll say Chuck Liddell because I've always been a massive fan of Chuck Liddell.
That's good.
He really got me
to the
throwback.
I like it.
I mean, there's so many of them.
Of course.
I was going to like Demetrius Johnson, big fan of him, but then you go, obviously, Israel Adesanya is my guy. I want to say Israel Adesanya. You got your John Joneses, mate. So obviously, I'm well more than 4, but there's a few of them. I'll probably miss some. John Jones is obviously up there. I know there's a lot of controversy
There's an asterisk or two there.
So I'm, for me, I don't like, so that's always difficult for me. But when it comes to skill, you got to give the man his credit. But there's a lot of other things there. But like I said, you got your guys like GSPs, Anderson Silvas, Demetrius Johnsons,
Chuck Liddell.
Who else have I forgotten? I mean, there's so many of them. Aldos and there's a lot of them. Izzy, Afro Izzy out there, Chocolate, there's a lot of them. So there's a few of them.
Yeah, nice, mate. We appreciate it.
Give everyone a shout out, you know what I mean?
Let's wrap it up, mate. We could be here all day. We love it, mate.
Man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you,
really
mate.
good to see you again. I've seen you a couple of times, but not on a podcast.
That's it, mate.
You're welcome anytime on the show.
Episode 200. You heard it here first. Volk back. Episode 200, maybe.
That's it. So I visit Melbourne quite a bit as well. So even
Well, I
when
was
I'm
actually
down
going to say, if you ever do, right? The mayor of Wollongong wouldn't give you the keys to the city, but I'm happy to give you the keys to my house, mate.
Okay, done.
So anytime you're in Melbourne, just feel free.
I appreciate it.
Feel free. Just make yourself at home. The missus
I've
can...
always wondered what the keys of the city do. You know what I mean? Because I'm into my...
they're yours, mate.
I'll take it. I've always wondered, I'm a big... I'm into my fishing and whatnot. Does that mean I can fish wherever I want? Does that mean all the endangered species I'm allowed to...
Just do whatever you want. Yeah, it's
I can park wherever I want. You know what I mean? I don't know how it works, but...
That's probably why you didn't want to do it.
Keys of the city is an honour, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, who's the honour? Who do you get it from?
Yeah.
The people. The
community,
the community.
The people.
You know what I mean? They give me that respect, and that's all that matters to me. And now I've got a free house as well, so we're laughing.
I think I've said it, Mako Shark, for 99 times that was the best chat we've done. But I tell you what, I've probably been lying in every single one of them until that, because that is, if anyone wants to conduct an interview with more poise, pleasure, probably sucking a bloke off verbally. I don't think anyone's ever done more of a verbal suck off to a potential guest.
Mate.
The world will be blown apart by a bald man, a man that hasn't been follically challenged in yourself, who I might say, you're in the blue corner of the Mako Shark, Matty's in the red corner. It's fucking unbelievable. That chat. That sent the gauntlet for all interviews. What are some of these big interviewers and these fuckers, these Michael Parkins and all this, that none of these people could hold a fucking candle to us, or the Volk and the guest, Mako.
That was the best 42 minutes, I reckon, from the Volk he's ever done in his career, to be honest. Have you ever seen Three Mates?
Oh.
Just shooting the shit.
A collection of laughs and just a lot of great eye locking.
I had my, you probably can't see it on this camera, but I had my legs crossed just so I had to hide my raging erection through the entire interview. That was how good that was. What a fella.
I stupidly wore skinny jeans, as I always do, but the seam on them were tested multiple times. But I noticed there was a lot of really good eye locking. You don't get that either. There was he knew he was a part of something great there, and as did we, Mako. And the whole team at the gym were unbelievable in their welcoming of us. No one asked us to have a role, which was fantastic, because I would have popped an ACL.
I thought about asking for a leg kick or something, but I thought, nah, we don't want to do that. We're not like we're not shock jocks, Matty. We don't go in there looking for cheap pops. We're journalists first and foremost.
Friends don't ask friends to kick them.
No, they don't, mate. I just want to get into it. How good was the chat? He was open, honest, raw at times.
Yes.
He's just the best. He is the best bloke on the planet. It must be said. Like, people say that. You hear it from all corners. Everyone says, no, he's the best. He's the best. He's the best. It's 100% true, mate. He actually freaks me out. I love him that much. And I hope he's watching this.
Well, he will be. He said in the pump up. I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, we're mates.
Well, he said to us in Perth when we met him, thanks to our mate Anthony Pallone.
Yeah.
At Eddie's barbershop. If you saw, I've had the job done there.
Dome, yeah.
But when we met him, and he said, boys, I'll do the podcast. And then we met him again. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to do the podcast. And then I met him again. A couple of touch points. That's the key out there. It doesn't happen overnight. It's touch points.
People have been messaging me all week. How'd you get it? How'd you get the Volk? Like there's some sort of secret, like a one-stop shop to get the Volk. I said, nah, mate. It's a life. It's an essence. It takes a while. You got to hustle. There's no quick, what's the word?
Quick fix.
No quick fix to success in this
You can't pull the wool over the Volk's eyes.
No, Volk's the goat. And, mate, Topuria, you're fucked.
He's in big trouble.
You're in big trouble.
I felt there's something, he's got, weirdly, he shouldn't, but I felt the energy in that gym. He's got something to prove in this fight. I think it's going to be a really horrible experience for old Ilia. He's got a bad gimmick with the Rose, and he's going to have a bad career post Volk. I think they'll always talk about him, Ilia pre-Volk, Ilia post Volk.
I like that Volk's almost going in there like a teacher. He wants to show him a lesson, wants to teach him a lesson, and say, "You come back better from this. Yes. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to humble you, and you use that moving forward." But that's in the future. At the moment, it's Volk's world, and I don't think Topuria's got a chance. And
look, we've been manifesting having him on, and our next manifest should be that if someone out there just wants to send Australia's hottest pod to Anaheim.
Look, if he wants to send us over, we're happy to head over. Anaheim, February.
Look, if you got a couple of shekels that you want to get the boys on a fucking jet plane, and
do a live pod maybe from Anaheim,
we'll give them a shout out.
Anyone wants? We'll get Conor McGregor on too. We're going to manifest him maybe for episode 102 next week. Maybe episode 200.
Slide into the DMs. You run the social. Slide in.
Austin. I wouldn't mind getting Stone Cold on if you're out there, Steve. Hit me up.
Who else?
Jesse Ventura. I wouldn't mind Jesse Ventura. I'm not going to do his voice here on camera, but there's a few blokes we'll get on the pod.
Why won't you do his voice?
Well, why don't you tell me, Matthew? Why don't you tell me if you're such a patriot? I'll get him on the podcast. I don't know why. I can't do much more, but I have 1,000 liters of potable water.
Hey, speaking of 1,000 liters, we've got 1,000 liters of Delgados. That wasn't even pre-work. That you just fucking did well. So, Mako Sharp, we normally at the start of the episode thank the sponsors, but speaking of, the boys and Ewan at Delgados have jumped on for the 2024 season, Mako Shark, is our official. So that's when you know you're starting to get places, when you have an official drinks partner.
Yeah, the official liquid.
It's a liquid. It's the only liquid we drink. We don't drink water anymore. No coffee. No. It's 24/7 Delgados running through our veins and systems. So if you're out there, get your hands on some because they're bloody good.
Delgado, Matty, and we'll just do a quick shout out. Dabble, our boys at Dabble.
Yes.
Australia's best punting agency. Had a bad day on the punt today, actually. We're going to talk all about it. UFC Austin was rough. But
you still won, though.
We still, look, we won a little bit, but we lost a bit too. But no, shout out Dabble. We love them.
We never talk about the lot. As long as we end the week $1 in front, as we know, we've been told, treat it like a business, not a pleasure. And we still come out $1 in front. So I still think that's a win.
That's a win. That's a win.
So explain to the audience. The Dabble is a different setup, isn't it? You get on, you copy, you piggyback. There's a bit of commentary, a bit of banter, a bit of everything, right?
Yep.
Sometimes you actually sort of forget you're even on a punching app at times.
Well, you get on there, you follow blokes. You get on there, so you follow us. You follow experts. There's punters. There's horse racing experts. There's dog experts. Hockey. There's baseball. There's basketball experts. You jump on, you tail them, you copy bet, and you have a bit of fun.
We're on there trying to build a bit of a following, and we have been winning.
We have been winning
a lot more than we've been losing.
Yep.
You always hear that's normally the first sign of an addiction, that I don't have an addiction or I don't lose. No, but we tend to not lose. We
do it responsibly, Matty.
We do.
Who else?
Raw Derby.
Yep.
Greatest pub in the world, Mako Shark. Coldest pots.
Yep.
We always get the address wrong. Where the fuck is it?
Brunswick Street. Brunswick Street, Fitzroy, here in Melbourne, Australia's best pub, coldest beer, best chook rolls. Get down there,
The chook rolls are actually
get down there.
They're to die for down there.
They're to die for.
So you would think there's nothing more, but there's another one. We've got gambling, we've got food, we've now got liquid, and what else do you need?
Well, once you've had your piss, once you've eaten your chook rolls, once you've lost all your money, you got to get down to the gym, Matty. Airlock of Brunswick, high altitude training, the hypoxia, get down there, get a sweat on, tell the boys sent you.
We've said, Mako Shark, the hypoxia has helped us on this podcast. Yep. People tell you, like in that interview, have you ever seen more nerves going in? We were quite nervous.
I had gravy bum all morning.
How many shits, seriously, we can talk about this candidly. How many shits do you reckon we did in that horrific tourist park combined? I reckon I was acting all cool. Yeah. I'm like, I'm fine. I've done my big brick. I've laid the brick.
No.
And then we went and got the haircuts. And we've come back. I reckon I had 4. I had 4 Volks.
At the lovely Windang Beach Tourist Park down there. Lovely cabin on the beach side. But conservatively, over the 12 hours, I reckon I did, let's say 5.
But then, if you listen to that, which I did
sure
5
loose stools, Matty.
Didn't hear any tremor. No. Didn't hear nothing.
Yeah, you made
stayed in the pocket due to the hypoxia.
High
altitude. Your cocks off, we say, and that helps us deliver great week in, week out interviews. I think we've also got a prize pack that we haven't actually put out yet, but there is a membership, a 3-month little membership. But then we started chatting and going, we have a huge audience in Queensland, so that doesn't help them because it's Brunswick. We you have to actually live here. You have to want to be fit. So there's a few So maybe if you want it, and just hit us up. Give us maybe a bit of a little mission.
On the socials maybe, and we'll give you a free 3 months at Airlocker.
Yeah, suck it for a bit, and that's it.
Yeah.
But I think it's like you can't just give one away for it not to be used, mate.
100%. No, we'll do that. So it's been a big week, Matty. It's been a big week. It was a what do we want to get? What do we do?
Well, just quickly, we spoke about it in the interview, but I woke up thinking I was going mad at 5 a.m. in Windang, the tourist park.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking lady had her jaw broken by some geezer behind me.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, are we?
Well, I just thought I'd just...
A little bit of domestic violence. We can, yeah. I don't know if we should.
I would normally run in like a big white knight. What do they call it?
Shining armour.
I had the Volk that day.
Yeah.
Because you know what normally happens?
Yep.
It's not the person that is the victim, the initial victim that gets killed. It's the saviour. The fucking big hero.
Yeah,
I come out going, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
I get stabbed.
Yep.
And then it's who the fuck was that guy and this guy podcast because I'd be gone.
Yep.
You'd be sleeping. You didn't even hear it.
I didn't hear anything.
And I still didn't think it happened until we got back and there was a bloke getting slammed into a divvy van.
Yeah, it was interesting, wasn't it?
And he was kicking right off.
Yeah. He wasn't happy.
So it was an interesting start, though, I thought.
Wasn't one of Windang's finest, to be honest.
We had delayed planes. We had torrential rain. We had a car that was beeping. You stayed in the pocket for that. We then had an assault. We then had a failed cameraman who, thank God, helped us in the end with his tyre exploding. Mm-hmm. We then had to sit down with the GOAT, the pound for pound, the best ever, and deliver that. So I just thought that was a funny little tidbit. Just typical us, though, isn't it? Nothing really sort of comes easy.
Look, it wasn't smooth.
We don't really ever get a delivery of just, here, have that. That'll be fun for you to do. It's always
in the end, though.
Wade through the shit and then you'll get to the other end, which 100%. I don't mind it that way.
No, it's good.
We've built this podcast on that.
Yep.
Thought I had to mention that, though, it was interesting.
Yeah, well, hopefully that guy's still behind bars, to be honest.
What do you want to do now? You tell me.
Big event today, man. Should we get into that? The UFC Austin? I think it was great. Probably one of the best cards of the year.
Where do you want to kick off prelims?
It was fucking huge, mate.
Tell me about
I've got my notes here, but
yes.
From go to woe, pretty much, this event delivered in spades. I got to tell you, there was some barn burners in the early prelims, so we always tell people, watch the prelims.
We do.
None of this main card only shit. If you're not watching the prelims, you're kidding yourself.
Often the prelims, like we've said before, because this is when the guys and girls
striving.
They're still trying to cut their way through. They're trying to get to the main card.
They're trying to get off 12 and 12.
And there's two of them doing it. So there's two of them trying to get past that one. And you know, like that's where they leave it. They genuinely, you very rarely see a really bad two-effort fight.
One of the fights of the year here. It's light heavyweight. Rodolfo Bolado up against Ihor Porteria, who we don't like, the duelist they call him. He got knocked out by our boy Carlos Ulberg a few months back.
You can't begrudge him for that.
Most people get knocked out by sheer sexiness when Carlos Ulberg's
he
looking
walks
at
in
him.
the room, just knocks out a fucking... People just collapse. It's a pandemic. It really is. They don't know the actual one. No. That is becoming thick and fast. People collapsing at his feet.
He's a dangerous man, Carlos Ulberg, with his fists and his looks. But, mate,
just on his looks, how do you reckon he actually has sex? Because he's that handsome.
I reckon he has
they collapse
a lot.
He has to like put that, what's the smelling salts to wake them back up.
Wake them up. You're right.
That would happen a few times, I think. He'd have to probably be a real process.
That is a problem.
He walks in, he has to have almost like a dummy behind him. You know when they
faint.
You know when that slapping Dana White and they've got the people behind
pillow behind him. Yep,
with the pillow.
It's a car.
I reckon he goes into a restaurant and all of a sudden a room of pillows to stop people, and then he has to wake them up.
He probably employs a spotter permanently, like a guy that walks behind him.
Correct.
Just to protect the ladies' heads.
Wow,
because they're falling, aren't they?
I had to protect yours when you first saw him in person,
mate. He's
and
gorgeous.
then you woke up. Then I fell.
He's gorgeous, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're talking about Carlos Ulberg for 10 minutes. He wasn't even fighting, but he did knock out Ihor Porteria months ago, and it was a hell of a fight today, Matty.
Yes.
It's one of these ones where the ref could have stopped it quite a few times. The Porteria was actually dominating Rodolfo. I was trying to get the name right. Smashing him in the second round, I think it was.
Yeah.
It looked like for all money it was over.
That's where I turned it on.
One of these, it's almost like the ref, you're screaming, why aren't you stopping it? Why aren't you stopping it? To his credit, this Bolado, it was almost the Homer Simpson style, the rope-a-dope stuff, where he just gassed out Ihor.
Yeah.
Just gassed him out by like just copying a barrage of elbows, punches, kicks, and then he gassed himself out. Bolado got back up.
Do you begrudge Bolado?
And then smashed him and finished him.
Do you begrudge that tactic? Do you think it's a smart tactic?
Well, it's not smart. But
what about the other guy? Do you think his team would be like, mate?
He couldn't have done much more. Like the ref probably should have stopped it, to be honest.
Okay.
And he was unlucky not to get the win. So that was.
You do see times where it's just 10% not enough with the power.
Then you wouldn't read about this. Back-to-back slam knockouts, Matty.
What would that have been paying with Dabble?
Ooh, that would have paid $3 million, I reckon. 3 or 4 million.
Yeah.
I think they've had, I looked it up, there was I think they've had 12 slam knockouts in the history of the competition.
In 30 years.
In 30 odd years. There hasn't been one for 3 odd years. There's been like one a year sort of every now and then. They've just gone bang, back-to-back, 2 fights in a row, slam knockouts.
We've talked about it on here. That seems to be the smartest tactic, though. If you're on top and they wrap their legs around you, if you have the capacity, we normally use capacity for another thing, but we can't get into that because it's a code word.
Yep.
But if you have the capacity to pick them up and slam them, surely that's your best bet.
He was wrapped up in an armbar. Yeah. They say, I think Bisping was saying, the old rule is you don't do that because it can actually end up deeper in it.
Yes.
So I think it's like wise not to. Same as when Michael Chandler did the back thing. It's not wise. It's not the go.
It's a one or done, isn't it?
But fuck me, if you pick them up high enough and dump them down, that mat is unforgiving. Their heads just ricocheted off the canvas.
There was the temple. He turned him.
Yeah.
I think it was the way he's, and that
I loved it.
I've been in an octagon once, New York, Madison Square Garden, Conor McGregor, I was in there.
Yep.
Just as a little flex, I like to every now and then just peel a flex off.
Champ.
It's hard underfoot. It's not as soft as you would expect it to be, considering. So the slam to the temple.
WWE mats, there's no give to them at all, really.
No.
So it is quite brutal. Drakkar Close.
Yep.
Yeah. Knockout of the year, I reckon, one of them. And then straight after that, Cody Brundage, who's been on a not a great run in the UFC, must be said. He was probably on the precipice of being cut.
Yes.
Pulled another one out, mate. Picked him up, dropped him on the head, got the KO knockout. So it was all happening in Austin at this point.
That's a horrible, we should have actually looked into that. Horrible combo, right, for the punters, because you've got a guy that's on the prelims and you've got the guy about to be cut. So you're going to think he's going to probably have a crack.
You've got to have a crack.
So we probably dropped the ball a little bit there and not just
He was paying 280, I think, too. He was paying overs.
There was a bit of early value.
Yeah. Next fight, bit of value. You were tipping it on the pod last week. Your girl, Cupcake. Big cupcakes, mate. We love Cupcake on this pod, and she was paying overs.
Well, I've actually never been a fan of hers. I was always a Ronda Rousey enough.
Yeah, it's probably fair enough too, actually.
Yeah, but really looking back, it was actually Rousey that was the enough, and Misha Tate was just probably talked off a bit. But did you actually see with the second fight when she got up and tried to shake her hand?
Yeah.
And Rousey just looked at her.
Rousey was a bit
so that spits in the face of mixed martial arts because it's not normally like that. They're normally very respectful.
She was underratedly poor sportsmanship in a lot of...
Looking back, it wasn't even underrated. She was actually a piglet.
Yeah.
She was one of the worst examples for a young female.
She refused to, shake Holly Holm's hand and all that kind of shit. Probably got what she deserved.
Actually, thinking about it right now, you would hate for your daughter to grow up and look up to her because she didn't really handle herself that well.
Not great.
Very underratedly looking back, cocky and...
She had people like Joe Rogan out there saying she could beat Floyd Mayweather in a fight, stuff like that. I think it went to her head a little bit.
Mate, she was the worst. She was one of the worst. That was about as bad as it would be if Don Bradman was brought back to face cricket today. Remember, that was a live version of what that would be.
It almost was.
Everyone,
she was ahead of her time.
No one knew how to do to counter a judo toss. You go back and watch her fights. All she did was get punched.
Judo flips.
A lot.
Yeah.
Went in, got punched heaps, and then would manage to flip them and then arm break. That was it. And then one woman decided, hang on, maybe I'll just kick her and punch her a little bit harder and not let her do this one move. She had two moves. Yep. Judo top and then armbar. That was it.
That was it.
And she became
but
the
then
best
she
in the
fell
world.
in love with her striking and it was her demise. It was very strange.
What was her bloke that we used to always laugh about?
Yeah, fucking Armand.
Armand.
Was it Armand?
And she had her beak broken in the first round against Ollie Holm and he went, you're doing great.
Go right where you want her.
Your beak would say other things, love.
Misha Tate looked good today as a domination, to be honest. Julia Avila looked out of her depth. Looked out of her depth this time.
And Avila had a bit of hype?
Yeah, probably shouldn't have. On reflection, I think she hadn't fought in 2 years, had a kid on the comeback trail. I don't know why there was so much hype behind that. So
Tate had a bad couple of performances.
Yeah,
before.
Well, she hasn't looked great since coming back, so that's probably why.
She's eyeing off a Rousey.
I heard they offered Big Squid.
Yeah,
Ronda's offered, but she said no
because Ronda knows that I don't think we'll beat her again.
Nah, she's past it, mate.
Yeah,
I think the sport's evolved.
It's the classic, like when you play someone at FIFA, and you're a gun, and you're not supposed to lose to them, and then they beat you, and then you never
like Jerry Seinfeld. Choose not to race.
Ronda chooses not to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
She's getting paid big squid for the scripted combat. But the other day I saw she's not in it anymore or something. She polled up at some sort of indie thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know enough about that scene anymore, but I know she's not coming out to the big crowds.
She's done. She's got the tin lid now.
She could be the wrestler. They could make a Wrestler 2 movie on her.
Yep. No, let's stop talking about Ronda, mate. She's no good. She's no good.
It's 100 episodes. I've turned clickbait.
Yeah.
I'm looking for names here.
Nah, fuck her off. But Cupcake looked good. Yeah. So anyway, win for her.
We'd have Cupcake on.
We'll get her on. Yeah. I mean, we've had the Volk on there, so there's actually no one on the planet.
I don't want to chat to anyone else.
That we should ever get. Anyone on the planet is right for picking now.
Now we're in we could just park it after this episode. Could just go into retirement.
Already the prelims have set the joint on fire.
Yes.
It's already one of the cards of the year at this point.
Yeah.
This one actually pissed me off, though. This was one of our little locks in the multi. This is why sometimes you just can't bet on this sport, Matty. Punting
yeah.
on MMA is a mug's game.
I hate a Mako. I hate a Mako short price lock. I hate them. It's almost as bad. We didn't talk about it, but you lost another multi punting on a female fight in the first leg, which we always say don't do it, yet we do it every time.
Never learn my lesson.
Because we go back on just chasing a bit of value by just adding that $1.30, $1.40 to like a 10-legger is massive monumental.
Never stick a woman you've never heard of in the first fight of the night.
You want a lesson out there, kids. Here's a free
leg
one.
One of your multi. Just don't do it.
Well, it's just pissing in the wind, isn't
Even
it?
though I'll continue to do it. Just
it's a mug's game, and that makes it even more. You're just pissing, hoping something lands.
It's a pain in the ass. So I cooked that, and then, Punahele Soriano, the man with the big lats.
And he's fucking head-tatted.
He fucking stinks.
He's shocking. Are we sure that we didn't get played and that was a switch? Because
I was locked on him because Stoltzfus is no good. Dustin Stoltzfus.
Can't be good if your name's Stoltzfus.
Mate, he hasn't even remotely looked like a UFC caliber fighter in his career to this point, and he comes out and looked like $1 million here today.
Can't say I've made it a thing of mine to go back and watch his back catalogue, Stoltzfus.
He hasn't got a highlight package worth watching, to be honest.
But it looked good today.
Looked $1 million today. Looked smart, and this Soriano, mate.
He'll never be punt. We can't.
Nah, you're black band now.
What was he? He was $1.26, $1.25 or something. That's the worry. Always.
Yeah, so that fucked us.
And to kick that off too, and we did well with the cupcake tits.
Yeah.
So we took the value, and then we thought, well, we can't be silly.
Nah, look, you live and you learn. You push on.
We tend to live and not learn.
Yeah. Next fight up, mate, Clay Guida, a legend of the sport. I think he's nearly 42.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's the Delgado's coming up.
Well, we've got the it's the jalapeno one making.
Yeah.
You might be getting a bit of
reflux.
Yeah, a bit of reflux.
It's
which
all good, mate.
The cans don't do that to everyone. Just the Mako shark. They actually make you feel lovely.
They do make you feel lovely. Yeah, they are delicious. Get on the Delgados. But he's
reflux shark.
38th fight in the UFC. Clay Guida. This man he's a freak. Did you watch this fight? Hell for leather. This for 3 straight rounds.
He's a cardio freak.
He's a sicko. He's a sick operator. He should have had this fight won a few times.
Yeah.
But he was fighting up against Joaquim Silva, Matthew, the Brazilian, built like a brick shithouse. He's built like granite, this bloke.
Yeah.
He weathered the storm.
Yeah.
And he ended up winning just 2 rounds to 1. Probably a good decision in the end. But, mate, shout out Clay Guida. At 42 years, 41, 42, 38 fights in, he just doesn't quit, this bloke.
Do you reckon he brings that sort of energy in the bedroom?
You know why I burped?
Why?
It's because of Clay Guida energy. You've seen the highlights package of Clay Guida?
Yeah,
that's why I burped.
Well, I was just saying he's the cardio king in the ring. Do you reckon he's a cardio king in the bedroom? Or do you reckon he could be a Brunswick? Because he's so full on into his
I reckon he's a jackhammer.
Training and fight. You reckon he's a jackhammer?
Yeah. He's got a genetic jackhammer.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon Clay Guida brings it, I reckon. But look, that was a hell of a fight. They got the crowd on their feet. They weren't happy with the result. There was Guida chance going all around Austin. But
I make a quick apology. It wasn't actually. It was Guida's opponent that had the sicko.
He had the sicko tat. Yeah.
I don't want to get the Brooksy ringing me going, you made another mistake.
We're in a studio. The nerves are getting to you here.
No, not at all. I just rushed ahead. I got excited for the Clay Guida guy because that wasn't. You don't really see that style.
Not often.
Starting sort of neck throat and then coming over the temple.
Over the bonds. You should probably run one of them.
Well, I've always said if I win the lottery, I will.
Bit of Bam Bam Bigelow type.
Yeah, I'll have a full head sticker if I win the lottery. I don't have to work ever again. It's a beautiful base here.
It's a nice looking skull. I think it would look
we've
good.
spoken about it off air. I didn't have the plums to do the bald man's handshake to the Volk, did I?
Oh, you should have done it. Yeah.
It's I don't know if anyone out there. It's a thing.
It's a new trend.
So it got passed on to me at Teddy Swims. A bald man come up to me and said, "How you going?" And I don't know why. And I said, "Good." And then he just brought me in and we touched heads.
What was the word? Not smooch.
It's like bulbing of your heads.
Yeah.
You connect.
You rubbed them.
And then I tried it on. I showed you at the Volk.
Head rub.
5 a.m. at the Royal Derby.
Yep.
I said to this complete stranger, have you had the Volk, have you had the ball shake? And he went, what are you talking about? I said, just come here. And he weirdly sort of.
Yeah, you big cutie.
And I went in. I don't know if he thought I was trying to kiss him, but I touched it. He goes, oh, that's the best. And so it's spreading. But I said, we'll save that for the Volk. We'll save that for the second chat.
Skull on skull embrace is what you're telling me it is.
Yeah.
Interesting. I might shave the head just to get one.
Well.
Might have to.
It's big.
All right. Well, yeah, episode we get Volk back on.
Yep.
I reckon you lead him
Any
with it.
bald listeners out there, you see me in public, if I was to ever turn you down for a bald head, I'll pay your mortgage off because I love it. I've really embraced it.
Yeah, you got it.
I just didn't want to lean across you through the Volk. If that it's nothing, that'd be like that thing, but a million times worse if I...
He probably would have locked you into a bloody guillotine if you had to come at him.
Imagine he just dropped on his back and choked me out.
Yeah, he wouldn't have known what's up. So probably smart by you.
Anyway.
Smart by you.
I had to get that out there.
Yeah, had to. Clay Guida, that'd be fight of the night, I reckon. 50K in the skyrocket for him. So that's
Do you reckon
good.
the bonuses are enough?
No, they're not. They've been pumping out 50K bonuses
I mean.
for like 15 years. Cost of living, Dana. It's
Yeah.
through the roof.
I think even I think if you're going to
Inflation, like it's actually embarrassing for the sport speaking frankly.
Yeah, you can. Don't drop the wood.
For a professional
Part of your
sports league where fighters are out there like calling for a bonus and it's 50K, it's almost embarrassing.
Yeah.
It should be 100.
100K.
Then it sounds like it's got a bit of juice behind it.
I almost feel like there wouldn't be a boring fight if it was 100K.
I think it should be
People
100.
go for it.
I think it's time. It has to be, doesn't it?
We've started a lot of things on this pod.
Hashtag. We'll get it
We've
going.
manifested things for fighters. We've
50
based
seems-
this whole podcast for the fighters.
it's under,
now we're going to
mate.
get them paid. Don't worry, Jake Paul. We'll get you paid.
If blokes like fucking Tito Ortiz and Chuck Liddell are all getting 50K bonuses in the early 2000s,
Correct.
how are blokes still copping 50?
What about Mount Volkmore? What about he had
Chuck Liddell.
he had the Iceman. That was unbelievable.
I love that.
I think it's great.
Oh, that bit of
I
left
think,
field work.
I think the Iceman would like that too.
Yeah, we'll tag him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the Volks.
It's justified though.
An actual Mount Rushmore member is shouting out Chuck Liddell on his Mount Rushmore. I think that's a fair call.
But I think it's fair enough.
Yeah.
He did enough to warrant. And it's an opinion too.
Chuck
so.
Liddell was he was integral to the growth of the sport back then.
Absolutely.
So I think in a way he is on the Mount Rushmore.
Go back and watch when he was. I feel like that era of sport that they
He was on
weren't
Entourage.
able to sustain.
It's kind of like the hot chicks that were in Zumag and Ralph back in the early 2000s. They were zingers, right? But they didn't have Instagram and OnlyFans to capitalise on. So now they're just sitting around poor going, I was just as hot as them.
Yes.
They weren't selling fucking...
Correct.
So it was,
But I almost
it was
feel
a
like
tough time for
they
the
didn't
zingers.
have the ability to do it as long as the really good fighters do for some reason. They couldn't sustain greatness.
Well, he's copped a lot of trauma to the bonds, didn't he?
Correct.
Chuck Liddell.
But even like if you just go back and look at all champions, sub 2000.
I think they just swang
almost
and bang
win
a
it.
bit more.
Yeah, correct. There was a bit more caution to the win. They weren't really thinking
Wasn't as-
long-term career. Like they're just thinking, I think that was just they fought because that's what they only could do. Whereas now people are very educated and have got double degrees.
100%.
Like Jack Jenkins, a friend of the pod.
He's a smart
Very
man.
educated, private school, rugby union type of sort of guy, right?
Yeah, sailboater type of operator. Yeah. That's
100%. Someone that he would know close and dear to him would have
Regatta.
a boat, would be a regatta.
They've said the word regatta in their life.
100% regattas come up in the Jenkins household.
I agree with that.
So they're a different breed, these guys. Regattas.
I don't
that's
think
very
Chuck
good.
Liddell's ever got on a
Do you
regatta.
reckon anyone's ever asked Jack Jenkins if he's got a regatta background?
I'll message you.
Well, you should.
Someone does.
We'll get him in here again.
We'll get
now
him
we've
in
got
here.
a studio.
We'll get Jack in here.
We'll be doing this once around every pay-per-view starting 2024 too.
It's gonna be
Not
good.
every week. You can't go
Nah,
from,
bit of squid.
fuck. You just got to be careful.
You got to be careful, mate. You don't overload the thing. But
So
no,
that happened, and what else happened?
what else happened? I'm just going to check the note. Oh, yeah, this is where we get going. This is where we thought there was value coming up.
We talk about I play a lot of fantasy football.
We're a
And
bit
you,
cocky.
you piss off the fantasy gods. If you get cocky or if you say something, often you get swiped down. We were very cocky about the value on offer.
Yep.
And I think we cooked it for ourselves and for everyone out there.
Kelvin
by-
Gastelum.
We really didn't respect the gods, the punting gods.
Probably didn't respect Sean Brady enough. I'm going to put my hand on my heart here and say didn't respect him enough. I think it's because his missus cracked it and he blocked us on social media.
Yeah, we got blocked.
You got blocked by Sean Brady if you're out there watching.
Surefire way to get no respect from us is blocking us
You
for no
blocked us,
reason.
mate. All I did was just re-quote what Jack Madalena said. You shit the bed in, what was it, Sydney? No, it was July in Vegas.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. He shit the bed. Didn't show up to fight Jack. So Jack said he shit the bed and then
Jack's allowed to. Jack did a
I
full,
just put a bed emoji and a shit emoji.
it's quite funny.
I think that's quite innocent, to be honest.
And for anyone out there, if you haven't worked it out by now by the style, it's the Mako shark running the socials.
Wow. I just thought that was, and then he obviously
That's
went through.
That's not rude. That's
I
a
think
bit
he
of
must have
fun.
gone through all the socials, see anyone that was clipping him, and then just blocked me. So
Do you know how
now,
many times I get fucking bald emojis sent to me?
a few times.
I'm bald.
Yeah.
He shit the bed.
He shit the bed. I'll tell you what he didn't do today, shit the bed. Actually dominated Kelvin
You
Gastelum.
can't do it. You can't do it, sadly, because you could try and think of a nice emoji to send, but you can't because you're blocked.
Yeah, can't find him. But he looked good. I think hype's back on Sean Brady. The hype train is back on board.
But why did we think Gastelum again?
Just because he's tough.
And he's fit.
He got fit. He's back down to 170.
Yeah, we said fit Gastelum.
I thought he was back.
He looked good.
He looked good.
Got the guns going and
Looked
that.
like he was motivated. You go to war with like Israel Adesanya and that. And you have fights of the year with like one of the GOATs. You think he can handle someone like Sean Brady, but he got pieced up.
Do we think certain fight styles aren't great for Adesanya though? So do we think that performance
I guess so.
at the time unbelievable, but the actions that we've seen and some of the
Yeah, well, styles make fights. I guess
Correct.
Adesanya wasn't trying to take down Kelvin, so he just stood there with confidence.
Correct.
Whereas Sean Brady just took him down with ease today.
That's right.
Controlled him. So
that's a problem, isn't it?
it is a problem. So disappointing for the punters out there.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people jumped on that value. And
Well, we fell over.
We fell right
We'd already
over.
fallen over a few times, I think, by now, haven't we?
Yeah, we were out. But
We sort of peaked at cupcake tits.
we did.
Yeah.
That's all right. So, look, good win from Sean Brady. He'll push on. He'll be probably right up there, top 5 sort of in his next fight, looking for a title shot soon, maybe.
Yes.
He called someone out. I've forgotten now. Oh, Ian Gary, yeah.
They all call
They're all
a clout call.
Ian Gary.
I don't like a clout call.
It's always a clout call. It's like a Paddy call out.
Except
It's
for
a
when our man
Conor
does it.
call out. Who's our man?
I think Mullarkey called him out, didn't he?
He called out Paddy.
Paddy, yeah.
Yeah.
So clout call, he can do a clout call.
Well, Jamie can do what he wants, mate.
Yeah, correct. He's got the
100%, yeah.
keys to this podcast.
The keys to anything he wants. Yeah,
As we
love that
saw,
bloke.
we give out keys.
Yeah, we give him out. But next fight up, Rob Font, the Fontosaurus Rex, the
big
Font Cock, Fontzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Times New Roman.
Yeah.
Up
That's
against-
actually the best one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's if he started calling himself Times New Roman,
Yeah.
I think the world will pop.
The big font. Comic Sans, maybe.
Comic
What's another one?
Sans.
Windangs. No,
No,
I call it Windings.
Windangs.
Windangs.
Well, you know what? He doesn't get the keys to his own city, so maybe Microsoft Word will give him a font.
I don't know any other fonts.
No, there's another one.
Helvetica.
Calibra.
Is that a font?
There's a Calibra. There's a Calibra.
That's a fucking car, mate. Holden Calibra. I'm not sure.
Is it a car?
Yeah, it is, I think. I don't know. We're pushing on here. Up against Davis and Figueiredo's. Figgy Cock. He was up at 135. Up from 125 at flyweight.
We parked our love of font and we gave
I
the
thought
punt.
this was value. It was one of those unknowns. They didn't know yet. You didn't quite know what Figueiredo would look like coming up to 135. Would he be able to stand up to that weight? Because Font's not a small man. But, mate, cruised into the bantamweight division.
Yes.
Looked good, Figueiredo. Controlled the fight. 30-27. Font's he's no slouch, mate. So
How old's Figgy?
Figgy's up there.
Figgy old?
Mid-30s.
So remember I asked you on the drive to seeing the Volk, do we think he'll ever just stop fighting at featherweight and just go up and almost do
not,
what
you know.
Figgy's doing?
Yeah.
Because it is a risk financially, right? As you made the point, like you're the champ, you get champ money.
Yep.
But I was sort of saying maybe the UFC, because of the favour he did for them, saving an event, maybe they said, well, for your first couple of fights, we'll match you.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to see him do that because
100%.
it's
I think
fresh.
it was-
Like now, it's how good's now. Now we've got there's a whole Figgy world.
Well, I think it was Volk's plan.
Yes.
I think it was. He was planning to win the title, obviously, and then just be in that
obviously.
division. It's a shame now that's happened because I think he wants to go to 155. He wants that new challenge. I think he
So
doesn't
many
want to keep
opponents.
cutting weight. Like it's hard work cutting weight down to 145 every fight. So it's a bit of a shame.
But
It's a
there's so
bit
many
of a
opponents now for Figgy.
shame. Figgy's got a whole new world. So he looked good. Shout out to him.
Yep.
Yeah, good on him. Font has to go back to the drawing board. He's lost a few now.
Well, I made the
But,
point. When was the last time that gym? They're struggling. They're going to have to go back for a drawing board as a gym.
we
I
like
think.
the New England cartel.
We love
Shout
them.
out our man
We love
Tyson
them.
Chat. Yeah, but
But we do sometimes call
he
it
knocked
like
out
it is.
Perez not long ago. But that's
Yeah.
about it. Then he got dominated by Sandhagen.
Yeah.
He's dropped a few. So, he has to work on a bit.
Yeah.
It's a shame, really, because
It
we
is a
like
shame.
him. Next fight up, almost a murder in the cage here today. I was going to shout out the ref.
Well, this is where I'll just preface this. I haven't seen much after this. I was at a 4-year-old's birthday,
That's flat, isn't it?
and there's a pool there.
It's flat.
So I would normally watch it on my phone, as you know. I don't miss a minute of it, right?
Yep.
But there's a pool and there's kids. It's a front yard pool.
It's a drowning
It's
risk.
your classic front yard pool.
Okay.
So there's no real pool gate
Front yard
because
pool.
the gate is the gate
Yep.
at the front yard.
Okay.
So there's no secondary.
Yeah. So it's open season once
So
again.
it's almost like they've cut corners without cutting corners because you probably would love a pool fence.
I think you should have one.
There was at least 30 kids running around a pool.
Yeah, right.
So I'm sitting there going, one of these kids is going to fall in, and every one of these, no real 4-year-old can actually swim.
Yeah.
4-year-olds can maybe
Nah.
float for a bit, but
If your kid drowns, right, and people are just screaming, who was looking after him? And you're over there watching Bobby Green versus Jalen Turner, you're in a bit of strife, aren't you?
I reckon I'm probably going to prison.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you should be in prison. Nice segue. The ref in that fight.
There you go.
What the fuck was going on? Have you seen the
I've
highlights?
seen the highlights. I have since, but I had to tell
That had to have
we have to be
been
honest with the listeners.
Mario Yamasaki in
the viewers.
disguise. It just had to be.
Had to be. He's come back.
He just watched it unfold.
I did see him crouched over a body that was lifeless.
Turner cracked him, a good one, had him on the stanky legs, and then he cracked him again, dropped him. At that point, if you're Herb Dean, I would be looking for Herb Dean to come in with the baseball slide.
We've even been a little bit saying that they've been early stopping.
There's been a few
recently.
earlies. This was the complete polar opposite.
So this has gone back to sort of where you go back and watch some fights. I was telling you when I watched the Lesnar fight against
Shane Carwin?
that one is one, but the Frank Mir one.
Frank Mir, yeah.
He was just hammer fisting him to death pre that leg thing.
Yep.
And then they got back anyway. But like that would have been stopped potentially now, the way that fight went before that happened. But then today happens.
Mate, this
Would
bloke's
that be you get fired?
I hope he gets reprimanded or suspended or has his license taken away. Hopefully Dana White's come out maybe in the post-fight presser. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm hoping he's clipped him because we know he gets on the mic and he sprayed Yamasaki, called him that piece of shit will never referee again. So hopefully years ago. So I'm hoping he did that today. I counted 17 unnecessary shots to the bonds from the time where it was like, all right, now you have to stop it. Like, I was being sort of reasonable, like letting him sort of make sure of it. But there was a moment in time where you had to stop it.
Maybe he should have been reasonable.
And then there was 17 more shots to the skull. So
that was CTA.
It was no good. It was ugly. It's the type of thing that ruins the sport a bit. I had the father-in-law over today. Just happened to be there while I was like, I've got to watch this shit. He's like, yeah. Old bloke doesn't really watch fights. You know what I mean? It ruins the sport for people because he's sitting there watching that and I'm like, oh, that shouldn't happen. Like, he's like, this is why people think it's a blood sport and they think it's this no rules barbaric shit because that stuff not good.
It's not me when I watch The Sopranos. I do a rewatch every 18 months, 2 years. Tash walks in on Tony getting a car BJ and he's doing all giddy or like she walks in and someone calling a woman a CUNT. I don't really want to.
You don't need
in
that.
Studio drop.
It's like when we were watching the Royal Rumble 2000 at my dad's joint. We were 15 and there's the fucking bikini contest.
Mae Young's tits.
You got Mae Young just flashing her 79-year-old geriatric fucking tits.
It happens.
And you're like, he goes, what is this shit? And I'm like,
although to be fair, he should have been excited by that, about his demographic and age.
Actually right, actually.
Never known a man to be 80 for 30 years.
He's 91, my old man, during the week.
He's broke through 80s.
Shout him out.
It's the longest stint in the 80s.
Doesn't know what podcasts are, so doesn't know I even exist. So it's all good.
Well, that's all right. At least he doesn't listen.
Doesn't know who the Volk is.
We get to listen on the other side of my family, just in case we say something wrong, and it gets through about 4,000 people. Yeah. And then it's all of a sudden you've got to answer to yourself. And I'm like, do you realise we're just two blokes having a bit of fun?
No,
and if we say something that, I love them. If we say something that's not exactly accurate,
get potted.
Just be happy you're getting talked about on Australia's hottest pod, soon to be the world's hottest pod. Like Brooksy even said, like, at least I'm getting a mention.
That's true.
Getting a mention. We'll be charging for mention soon.
Very true. And the main event, we'll get into it quickly, Arman Sarukian.
Yes.
He silenced all critics, all doubters, all anything, to be honest.
Yeah, including me.
There was a little bit of like, who's he beaten? You know, he hasn't beaten, what's he done? He's, this and that.
Yeah.
Mate, he's just fucking bopped Beneil Dairouche in 1:06.
Yeah.
Very
Minute
good.
6 is huge.
Very good. And like he's a grapply boy.
I didn't think Dairouche was a mug.
He's not a mug, mate. No, Dairouche is not a mug. He is top 5 sort of guy. So he got fucking smashed. So that's unfortunate for him now. Been smashed by Oliveira, now smashed by Sarukian back to back.
Yes.
Boy, oh boy.
We actually spoke about coming in. Where do you go? How old is he?
Oh, I don't know how old. I think he's 34 or 35.
So
one of the two.
Now he's not ever winning the belt.
Probably not.
That's it. That dream's done.
Yeah, it's done.
I don't want to be a dream dasher.
Look, we won't tell him. I won't message him and let him know that Matty said dream's over.
That'd be a really weird thing to do.
But I reckon it might be over, unfortunately. Like, where's he at?
No doubt someone has done that in this world today, though. Has messaged him and said, you're never winning the belt.
Yeah, it's a cruel world.
Probably 3 people.
Yeah.
But like now, what's your motivation, though? This is what I was chatting to you about coming in here. I'm like, because every fighter, they'll never admit it, but every fighter thinks that they can be the best and be the champion.
Yep.
How are you doing that sport knowing that you actually can't?
Yeah, it must be hard. I don't know.
There's no world. There is no world that he wins that he's ever the champion.
Nah, he won't now. I don't want to write a bloke off, but at this point, you've got to be realistic.
I am.
It's probably cooked. So now it just turns into a payday, but it's dangerous sport just to be going in for a payday. So I'm not
Derek
sure.
Lewis is in the payday.
Yeah, but I guess he is. Yeah.
He's on a bigger payday wicket, but you've seen how dangerous it can be for him. Yeah. He's been motivated sort of once since realising he's never going to win the belt, and he was fantastic, made us a lot of money actually. So shout out. But then in other times, you almost – I will say though, in that last fight, he could have given up. He didn't.
He battled.
But like it's almost like, what am I doing here? So you get into that sort of phase.
Just become a journeyman, I guess, for the payday.
Shocking career to be a journeyman.
Disappointing for Dairouche because he was a fucking good fighter.
Lovely guy, I reckon.
Good fighter. Seems like a good fella. So anyway, that's a good event today, mate. Great event, UFC Austin. I was happy with it.
I'm not a Dairouche hater.
Nah.
I'm just saying. I'm a Del Rouge. I'm a realist. I wish I was not the yes man in his corner, and I was actually saying maybe you got, your beautiful family. Maybe you try and he looks like a smart, educated guy. He's probably got a degree in something.
Probably.
Maybe a regatta. Join Jack Jenkins on the regatta.
Yeah, maybe I might have to actually. Yeah, the yachting.
Well, that could be the next best step for fighters. Getting into a bit of yachting, boating.
Yep. Yeah, there's good money in it. Maybe. I'm not sure.
Danger though with that boom thing. Get hit with that, and you've already had some hits.
Yeah, I don't like the ocean. I don't trust it.
You definitely don't.
I don't trust
Tell you what I do like.
As you sip Delgado, it's delicious.
Love that, but I love this next segment, Mako Shark. And I normally do this on a computer screen, and but now I'm doing it live, and I'm doing it in a studio. So I'm very excited because you still to this day you've never told me what you're going to put in this next segment, Mako Shark. And this is the segment that basically built the podcast. It's not the content, it's not the guest. We tell them that it is the guest, but it's not. It's this segment by one man, yourself. You're sitting, this is how comfortable you are with yourself and this segment. You're sitting across from me. You haven't even put fucking shoes or socks on.
That's warm in here.
You're going a shoe and sockless. That's how comfortable you are. That's why I'm extremely excited for what's about to happen. And the listeners out there that have been there for 99 times before, far and few between, Mako Shark, a week where you've had off. I will say that. You've been unbelievable in bringing something that's upset you. And people would go, geez, that's pretty easy. But fuck, that would be hard to come up with 99 things that have pissed you off enough to think that you can not just talk about it, but actually build a podcast off Mako Shark. And as we say, the fan mail is just booming. I'm getting fucking absolutely spifflicated. So if you wouldn't mind, maybe release your address because I'm sick of it fucking coming in. Carrier pigeons fucking buy everything. Even the old postman putting it in the slots. Fucking It's happening, Mako Shark. So I want to say to you, I'm excited to actually be in the same room. It's never happened. I don't think we've ever done a same in-room tank, which I get to feel the ambience. I get to get picked up. Maybe I'll get excited and say something I shouldn't. But we all know you're about to, Mako Shark. So for the 99th time, I'm going to give it to you. It's your favourite segment. It's my favourite segment. It's the listener's favourite segment. It's our new best friend's favourite segment, the Volks. It's the Mako Shark Tank.
Very good intro, as always. Mako, it's hard, mate. It's hard doing it in this setup. I'm excited, but it's very intimidating.
Felt like a Tinder date. I can act tough on the computer, but now I've got you in the room. I had to pump you up live.
Mako Shark Tank, episode 100, This is big. This week, you know what's pissed me off this week? You might not have heard this name for a while, even though sometimes we mention him on this pod. He's been locked away for 11 years, but he's been released back into the world, I believe. He's a South African, Matthew. He has a couple of stumps.
Oh, no.
His name is Oscar Pistorius. I don't know if you've heard out there that he has been released on parole.
Oh, no.
Back into society, and I am not happy about this, Matthew. Are you kidding me?
No.
This fucking three-quarter man is back out into the world after committing a treacherous murder. Riva.
Pre-planned.
She might have been texting a rugby player, Matthew, but she did not deserve what happened to her. He should be locked away for life.
Stumpy.
I just thought he was gone for life.
So did I.
11 years later, this prick, I was going to say he's walking free, but he's limping away. He's stumping away out into the public.
On his little nubs.
Scot-free, to be honest.
Ever seen his nubs?
I don't want to see his nubs. I never want to see the nubs. I never want to hear the word nub again.
Yeah.
Oscar Pistorius, if you're out there watching this, mate, fucking have a look yourself in the mirror.
You shouldn't be the cannon.
You shouldn't even be asking for release, mate. You should be taking it on the chin and saying, nah, I'll stick here. I deserve it. Another 20 years. Give it to me.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck off, Pistorius.
Well, he shouldn't be out.
What, have you got diplomatic immunity, Matthew? Is that what he thinks he has?
He was in the rich part of South
He's
Africa.
worse than Hansi Cronje.
Well, at least he flew a plane into a building,
Fuck
didn't he?
me.
No, not a building, into a mountain.
That's very coarse stuff. Kepler vessels, Matthew, but he's no good, this Oscar Pistorius. And I'm here on Australia's Hottest Pod to let him know.
Yes.
11 years is not enough for what he did. So anyone out there, call in, phone in if you agree with me.
I always love this. I love this call in. We don't even have a line.
We'll get a number set up. Call in. Do you agree with me?
Oh, no, I agree.
Cocko in the box. Do you agree with this?
He agrees.
He can't be out, can you? 11 years after cold-blooded murder.
Well, you would get 7 if you're in Australia.
I mean, fuck me. I like doing
10 for murdering a female in our country. So the fact he got 11, at least South Africa's one above us. But you shouldn't ever be out.
Should never be
out. Seen the doco?
I've seen some of it.
Seen him nubbing across the floor, pretending that he was nubbing.
Yeah. No,
they didn't believe him because he was too quick. So he had his legs on. That was the big bit where that's where he fell over.
You can put the blades on pretty quick.
Nah, it's a bit of a thing. You got to lube them up and that. Like it's seriously
grease up the nub.
Haven't you seen it? Go and watch it.
I don't want to watch it. Fuck him. I hate him.
Apparently, he had them on. So she went to the toilet and he put them on like coarsely, where he claims that there was an intruder and he was nubbing across the floor. And then
They actually go and watch the best footage you've ever seen. There's a guy there standing over him with a stopwatch, and he's boom, and then he's trying to go really quick, and he couldn't, and you can see the panic because he realised that he's lied. Anyway, allegedly, we always got to say that just in case.
No, you got fucking. We don't have to say allegedly. You got fucking put in jail.
Okay,
it's fine.
That's all right. I just
on
don't
the
know how
record.
I don't want to go to prison.
It's on
myself.
the record, mate.
Well, fuck him and his nubs.
I have been through your phone.
They should nub his arms if he's out. They should just cut his arms off so he's a four-way nubber.
Oh, that could be what it was. Yeah, we'll let you out in 11, but we've got to cut your arms off.
You can have another 40.
Yeah, you got to.
Or you can come out and have a top half nub.
It's a quad nubbing, to be honest. So I think that would be fair.
No one's ever said quad nub on a
quad
podcast.
nubs. I'll retract this whole segment.
You can tell I've had a second sip dropping quad nubs.
Fuck him. So I just want to get off my chest.
No, that's fair enough.
Fuck him off.
Absolutely. The poor family too. Like now he's genuinely out in that shit.
Think of the Steen camps.
You don't think
what
of
they're
it.
going
No
through.
one does. That's the problem.
No one thinks of the Steen camps.
I always think about him.
Say that.
Do you reckon he had a tough time in prison?
Well, he should have been stabbed or something.
Yeah, it's weird.
Blokes like that should have been killed in prison.
Put it to you, in this wild world we live in, is there a genuine chance there's a Pistorius OnlyFans coming where he does nub things, he gets paid for it?
That's just great. Yeah. Yep. There's probably a chance.
There is a genuine chance.
There'd be a stub market.
Absolute stub market.
Yeah, it would be.
There's a nub market.
It's disgusting. Oh, not disgusting. I don't want to.
It's not disgusting.
Not disgusting.
It's disgusting anyone that's committed for murder.
Kink shame. I'm not kink shaming on this podcast.
No, we don't kink shame. We murder shame.
If you're a stub adorer, go for your life.
Yeah, I thought you could have made a joke about I wear hats and that. There was something there for you. You wanted to pick it up. But
Let's probably push on from the stubs. But
that's all right.
I don't like him, and I just want to get it off my chest. Episode 100, I think that's all right.
No, it's okay. Is there anything coming up?
Yeah, let's do a quick preview. I don't know go all day.
No, we won't go all day, but just a quick dabble, because that's what we do here, Mako Shark.
That's what we do here on the podcast. We dabble responsibly. Right. As always, thank you to Australia's best sporting agency.
Exactly.
Dabble.
Yes.
There isn't obviously
By
another...
the way, you're performing beautifully in your first real podcast studio environment, Mako Shark. I'm enjoying it. And you've washed your feet too. There's no pong. Nah. It's a good test.
In a podcast studio for fucking
I
an
should
hour.
have had mine out. I got the painted tootsies by my son this morning.
Saw that.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
I liked it.
Bit of a pedicure.
Yeah. Had the UFC on the background. So I was just going at a level of masculinity. It wasn't high, it wasn't low, it was just beautiful.
I think that's fine, mate.
It's a balanced life, mate.
What colours did he run with? Bit of red,
right is blue, left is pink.
Yeah, beautiful.
He put stickers on them too.
There you go.
I've got lightning bolts, love hearts. I just said, go for it, son.
I love it.
Like a tattoo artist. I said, you're the creative one.
Yeah. It's your show.
I'll let you come up with it.
Run your own race. Fantastic.
He ran.
Goodbye, Leo. But look, we've got a big fight night coming up this week. It's a... close to our heart this week.
It is.
It's got a couple of the friends of the pod.
I'll pump them in.
Fighting on this week. I think it's in Vegas. It was supposed to be in China, actually, this event.
Was it?
That got fucking shit canned and they've
Why?
I don't know.
China?
Look, I'm not sure why, to be honest, but it got shit canned and just moved to Vegas. So interesting stuff there, but we're going to get into it. Our friends of the pod, mate, a couple of them.
Yes.
Let's get into it. Shannon Ross, friend of the pod. His third fight in the UFC. It's fucking, it's do or die now for our mate. We love Shannon Ross. We love him. He's a fucking good fella. He battles adversity.
Lovely guy.
He doesn't ever quits.
I love him.
He's a ripping fella, a good bloke. I just feel like he deserves to be able to show the world what he's capable of.
I think so too. Do you think has there been a stitch up in the fight match? I feel like he's been against a couple of pretty fucking solid guys.
It's hard, isn't it? There's a lot of killers at that weight class, mate.
It's a killer weight. Like it's a...
There's a lot of sicko flyweights in the world.
Correct.
That go under the radar and just fucking real fucking lightning quick sort of operators.
Who's he fighting?
He's fighting a bloke by the name of Hyosung Park, a Chinese bloke. Korean bloke, South Korean.
He's not on here yet.
Dabble markets maybe not all up. It's going to hurt us on the pump up. But look, Shannon Ross. Yeah. I hope he wins. Yeah. I think he's a good bloke. He needs a win, deserves a win. Deserves to go over there, show the world what he's capable of.
This is it, though.
Look, this would have to be it. No, we're not pulling any punches on this pod. Like,
no, I'm not. I'm not saying I want it to be.
Yeah, no, this is.
But I'm just talking.
His chance.
He'll listen, and he'll get this. This could be what puts him over the line. Though.
I think so.
You can't lose. You don't lose. You don't go 0-3 and survive. You just
you don't. That's the way of the world.
There's every chance he wins and still gets cut on the next contract. So I hope he goes out and has a career best performance because he looks like, and we've met him, but he just feels when you see good family guy and a likable guy. Yeah. Doesn't matter what gym, he seems
really nice
liked,
guy,
well liked, industry liked.
Similar to the Volk, like just a good, honest, humble operator. So I'm looking well liked on this pod, and I'll be up. I'll be watching that, screaming me dick off from the couch. Hopefully Shannon gets the win, mate, and then we're also going to get into it.
Yeah.
Our man, Matthew. This is our man, the hooligan, one of our best pals. Jamie Mullarkey is back as always. Does not quit this bloke. Absolute. The strength of schedule this man operates on doesn't ever not have a fight. Just continues to fight. Every 3 months, you can pretty much bank on a hooligan fight. Yeah, he's back. No market's on the fucking dabble. Yeah, that's a shame. We're recording early in the week.
That's all right.
We'll pipe it in on the socials. But the hooligan's up again. Nasrat Haqparast is his opponent, Matthew.
We've been Haqparast guys in the past too. We like saying his name.
I just like saying his name. I think we've gotten on him a couple times, but he got smashed by Dan Hooker, another friend of the pod, last year. I think he was supposed to fight someone else, got canned, but whatever. He's fighting the hooligan this week, and I tell you what, Nasrat, your days are numbered.
No,
let's
that's
be honest. Your days are numbered.
You want my lock of the card?
Yeah, give it to me.
It's our man.
Hooligan.
It's the lock.
No, lock him in.
Lock him in.
I'm going to empty the coffers. How about that?
It's a coffer empty.
Yeah, empty them.
Jeez, that's plummy.
No. Every single dollar in our coffer.
I know what's in our coffer.
What's a coffer out there? Can you tell us what a coffer is?
He doesn't know.
No one fucking does, but you empty it anyway. You got to empty it.
At one time, someone emptied something that was called a coffer.
Maybe it's a bloke that had a fucking pube in his throat and he was coughing while he was putting money on the horses.
Mate, it could be.
Not sure, but hooligan.
So you're going to tell me right now, because you often lie to the listeners around our punting habits.
Sometimes.
You pick people here and then you punt on others. You lay off on your own words, which is unheard of. And I've tried to shape in ship sharp.
Look, sometimes I get carried away on the pod, you know, and then I sit back during the week and I have a come to Jesus meeting. That's why it's almost a test, though. You got to follow on Dabble to get the real.
No, I actually quite like it.
You got to follow along
because you give them enough.
This is my feeling early in the week.
Yeah.
And then you'll get my actual lock in.
Your lock in.
Late in the week.
Oh, I don't mind that.
I think that's smart.
You're allowed to change your mind before
But I'll tell you what's not going to change. Hooligan.
So your coffer empty.
Just empty it. Tell the missus that you need money for Christmas presents and all that kind of stuff and just jam it on Jamie Mullarkey because he's going to smash this prick. There's another Anzac. Actually, he's French, Matthew, but he fights at he's an honorary. He's an honorary Anzac. Yeah. Kevin Jusset, Matthew, from City Kickboxing.
Yes.
He's back. He had a good win in Sydney in his debut. Smashed Kiefer Crosby.
Kiefer.
Good man,
Peter
Kiefer.
from the Burmese was really pumping Kiefer up.
Well, he got
Kiefer
fucking
Sutherland, 24.
Yeah, he got smashed pretty quick, didn't he, old Kiefer?
Oh, yeah.
No good he is.
Kiefer, and there was all talks about, jet lag got him. I'll tell you what got him.
Stinks.
The French Anzac.
Eugene Behrman's boy, well-deserved. He was the two-weight Hex world champ. Well, not world champ, but Hex champ. Can fight this bloke, can scrap. So, got the call up late for Sydney. Yeah. And, put on a good performance. Now he's, backing it up against Song Keenan. Or Kenan.
Say Song Yadong.
Song Yadong off, but no, unfortunately not.
Oh.
It's the bootleg song.
That makes it easy because we can go for the French Anzac because Song Yadong. Yeah.
Well, we would have probably got around Song Yadong, but do you say get around? Yeah. We want to empty. We've already emptied it for Jamie.
An Anzac coffer?
I think maybe triple up. Yeah, triple up.
Triple up.
Yeah. Plums. Get some plums going. So looking forward to that fight. I reckon he'll win that.
Okay.
He looks a solid operator. He looks ready-made for the UFC. So
he looks good.
Looking forward to seeing
Sometimes
Kevin
these guys that have a bit of I would have thought he probably thinks he could have been there 24 months ago.
Yeah.
But sometimes that works.
Well, he's been plying his trade at City Kickboxing for a while now.
Correct. With guys that are
killers,
there.
world champs, Hall of Famers, tough as fuck people like Dan Hooker.
Yeah.
How do you not get better working with blokes like that?
Well, you just do.
You just do, mate. You just fucking do. So, look, we're not going to talk about the whole card. We're waffling on here in this studio for a while now, but quick shout out, I think Anthony Smith versus Khalil Roundtree will be a banger.
Yep, it's a last minute
Anthony Smith replacement.
Anthony Smith, we're not huge on him, but at least he's put his hand up and saved a fight.
I heard a few whispers from a friend of the pod that he's a bit of a stinker. So I jumped off pretty quick when I heard that.
I'm off also fully now.
I don't think he's any good, to be honest.
Good.
So Khalil Roundtree, I reckon he's going
to... I started nice. See, I'm trying to be nice, but fuck him, actually. I've heard whispers.
Mail.
He's got mail.
My desk that he's a bit of a shit prick.
Is it vaulted?
Yeah, it's vaulted. Okay. Can't go on air with it.
Okay.
It's on the Patreon. But
yeah.
Roundtree should win that, so stick him in the multi too when you get a chance. And then the main event is, here we go, our man, Song Yadong.
He's actually in it?
Great. Yeah. Sonia Dada's Matthew.
Yes.
Up against Chris Gutierrez, the Jersey native. I think Song Yadong gets the job done in the main.
I do too. There's a pretty healthy...
It's a healthy enough card.
But healthy enough punting.
Yeah. There's a bit of value there. Bit of value there, Matty.
Which I'd love to be able to give you the odds, but I can't. So you'll put it up.
Yeah, I'll put it up during the week on the socials. Yeah. But look, it's going to be a good event. It's been a great poll. What else has happened? We just talked about it earlier. Yeah, Garcia fought. I think he won.
He won.
Just quickly Googled that, so that's good for him.
There's nothing really else. We have been banging on.
Mike Perry won.
Mike Perry.
Corner stoppage.
There you go.
Corner stoppage, which means he punched his face.
Just punched his fucking whole cock straight off.
Do we like the bare knuckle?
Oh, look, I like it in a certain, like, I like looking at highlights and I watch it on the Instagrams a bit here and there, but I don't like it enough to sit down and, like, pay for it. And
We like the idea of it, though. It just feels like people are trying to go.
It feels like side circus, sideshow, carnival sort of stuff for mine.
It feels like let's make something more violent to draw in the absolutes. But I don't know. I don't think you need, I think the MMA gloves are.
It's almost, it is shock value. That's what it's for. It's shock value, like the blood.
Did
the gore.
the Aussie Beck win?
Beck, yeah, can you get us Beck Rawlings? Rowdy Beck?
Quickly before we wind it up.
This is good, actually. We're getting on the spot live updates.
I like it. I don't have to do it.
This is, get used to
Coco
this.
does it for us.
Get used to
Great
this. I hope she won.
Yeah, as he's doing that, there's been sponsors that are no longer here, and I won't mention names because you're no longer sponsoring us, but they'll know who they are. We're very thankful. Some people that put some money in our coffers early and the guests that gave us opportunities.
Yep.
Wild Will, first ever guest, shout out to him.
Tomlinson, shout out.
Maybe
Episode
a savvy
6, I think it was. I was
4
like,
or 5.
why is he coming on? Does this bloke even know who we are? Like, why is he
Maybe
coming
just a
on?
savvy man. He got in on us like early crypto.
Ground level, yeah.
He bought in and now he's gone to the moon, right?
Yep.
Buying a holiday house, I heard off the back of us.
Off the back of us, yes.
Smart people like that actually, we had no right to be really doing anything.
Yep.
And
Jamie Mullarkey, he was a real early one. Early
and the boys that
jump on.
the repeat.
Joshy Coolabear, one of our favourites. We love him.
Plenty of guys.
Jimmy Crute, the fucking Crudy
Shout out
pie.
to Crudy. Hope he's okay.
Rex,
We
the
love
fucking
him.
Denny Crute mustache. We love you, mate.
He's one of our absolutes, actually.
He's one of my, I love him.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jim. He's one of the all-time
But,
greats.
you know, you just got to make sure people are aware that you do. You are.
We appreciate
it's
everyone.
not a suckfest, but 100 episodes is a humongous thing. I haven't really thought about it too much. People really, 100.
And we couldn't have done it without these blokes. The community is so giving in this country, the MMA community and the boxing world. There is a lot of good people in the boxing world as well.
People that have helped us at last minute when we've a computer shut down or come up with creative shit for us when we've got a budget or just stepped up when we've needed, which is massive, right? And you ask and you think, but to do that is still something, isn't it? They've taken time out of their day.
Yep.
Also our families, like my gorgeous wife, Natasha, and my kids, like they put up a lot of shit really. You know, I play football still stupidly.
Yeah.
You know, work.
Yep.
You exercise, and then you just chuck this on top. So that got to make sure that they're aware that it's not just, I'm not taking it for granted. I'm sure you're the same.
100%, mate. You know, you got to check the dial out. Absolutely. No, they are the best.
Yeah.
Look, we could probably waffle on all day, sucking people off, but no, it's been fantastic.
I'll give you yours after the show.
Thank you.
I love you and love working with you.
I love you too. 100 eps. Yeah. Fantastic stuff. I hope people watch this. They go, who the fuck are these guys? They won't know who we are.
No.
They're just clicking on a Volk interview.
Correct.
I hope we don't look or sound like complete cocksuckers.
No, I don't think we do.
But if we do, I apologise.
They would have turned off by now.
They would have probably turned off.
No one ever listens to this.
No one's watching this.
The data tells us that.
Yeah, but if you are, stick around. I hope you stick around.
Yeah.
I think we're good fellas.
Yeah, we
I think
are.
we're just trying to put out a pod, you know. Yeah. The world needs more podcasts, Matty. I always say that. So
should be a T-shirt.
Absolutely. So, no, episode 100, fantastic. I love you. I love everyone out there. Episode 101 coming next week. Probably won't look as fancy as this, to be honest, but we'll get there every week. We'll get there, mate. It's a slow yarn. Not a yarn, it's a slow burn. It's a slow burn out there in this world, Matty. But are we done? You want to wrap it up?
No, I'm done.
You're done?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Bloody rip me.
Beck Rawlings lost.
That's good we didn't get it on the pod. It would have flattened me.